Mama talk about the interview with the Wesley.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
You heard?
Yes, I'm going to interview Wesley Curry II. Hopefully, he gets here soon because I want to have a nice talk with him. He's got a very interesting past and fascinating past, as a matter of fact. And I hope he can come on and talk about it. So we'll just hang out, Logan, and chat and see if Wesley comes on. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, it's morning time here. So
What time is it for you?
it is 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.
Wow.
And I'm supposed to have the fire department is supposed to come in here today at some point and put in some sort of an alarm. So that could possibly happen at any time today, but hopefully not during this stream, especially if we're interviewing Wesley. But um, yeah, so everything's going good. Released a couple videos today, and yeah, don't have many plans for the rest of the day. Just gonna probably go for a walk later.
Oh, that's nice. You ever heard Interview with the Vampire?
I never saw it.
What about Interview with the Wesley?
Hopefully we see that.
Yeah.
Wesley, if you're out there, please come on. We're ready to talk to you.
Yeah. Uh, sorry. Do you think? What would you do if? Oh, I talked to that guy Jesse Morrell.
You talked to him in person?
Not in person. Like I text him or something.
Uh-huh.
If he comes on, would you ever like to talk to him?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I have to like watch his videos to kind of see what his story is, but
Yeah, he's that guy
is he
about.
the one that goes into the churches and stuff?
No, he's the one who goes camping, the camp places.
Oh, okay.
Not
Okay.
camp, colleges.
Oh, colleges. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
he preaches open theism.
Which I'm not sure what that is.
He means that people have free will to do whatever they want. It's not chosen by God to do stuff.
Okay.
It's opposite from Calvinism.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of Christians don't believe that same thing. So I would think he'd get some pushback from other Christians.
Yeah.
I mean, as an atheist, I don't really have, any sort of opinion either way because I don't really accept either side's position. But
Yeah.
it would be interesting. I'd talk to him. I'm sure, Mark would like to talk to him too.
Yeah, he reminds me of a magical leprechaun.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. I asked him about one day coming on, probably tomorrow or what day. That'd be great to have him on.
Oh, okay.
He's Jesse Morrell.
And he's got YouTube videos and stuff?
Yeah. He's an open theist. He's very open.
Okay. Okay. Is there such thing as a closed theist?
I guess that'd be a Calvinist, I guess.
Oh, okay.
He's opposite from a Calvinist. Like that guy Bob.
Calvinists believe in predestination, I believe, right?
They believe everything. Depends how much Calvinist they are, I guess. They believe that God controls everything that happens.
And kind of knows if you're going to make it to heaven or not from before you're born.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that kind of is, I think, like Mark and Christian are kind of along that same line.
Which one you think is better, open theist or closed theist?
Oh, God. Probably open theists because at least humans can have free will. It sounds kind of, I mean, wouldn't Michael Jones, would he be considered an open theist?
Yeah, kinda. He sounds a bit like them a bit.
I mean, God creates things, and then basically those things have power and history of their own to make their own decisions and destinies.
There's one part kinda remind me something what Animal Lord would like. They believe that the universe has always been, I guess, like time. So
Okay.
Adam Lord will fit in with them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll wait till 10:30 for Wesley, and then I don't know, I guess unless somebody wants to come on at that point, but um and we can talk about something else, but if nobody's around, oh, there's Claude.
Hi, Claude.
So, Claude, we're gonna wait until 10:30 to see if Wesley shows up, and if he doesn't, then come on if you can, and we'll all have a chat. And then if Wesley shows up, we'll just go ahead with the interview.
Oh yeah. Father Charles said that he talked to Ken Hova, and he said Ken Hova said it's all right for him to host it on Father Chuck's show.
Okay, okay.
We'll just very
Live.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're
Well,
Claude sick of that.
we'll see what Claude thinks about those terms.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm changing appearance free.
Oh, he's charging an appearance fee now, so we have to pay him $5 each for an appearance. Oh no, this is for his debate appearance.
Oh, okay.
How much, Claude? And Ken Hovind has to pay that, not us.
$5,000.
That sounds like it's worth it.
Oh, do you have $5,000?
Not on me.
Oh.
I don't carry large sums of cash around with me like that.
Is it true what Kent says that there's no one accepting money now? It's all debit?
He said that. He said that at the end of 2023, everybody was going to be cash free. And it doesn't seem to have happened because I've been to about 20 places that have accepted cash.
Paid into a banana blanket?
What? Banana what?
Let's say,
Oh, Bahamas Bank. So those islands that are off of the coast where people kind of hide their money. People go to the Bahamas and open bank accounts.
oh, hi, Claude.
Hi,
Would you
Claude.
like the debate Kent on Father Chuck show?
Well, secret stash of money. Yeah. Yes, it just was another thing that Kent was wrong about. Of course, people are more and more using cards because it's a bit safer than carrying the cash with you. Kent doesn't like it because he can't, if all the transactions are done by that way, he can't hide money away,
Oh,
He
no.
can't hide it because it can all be tracked. That's why he doesn't like it.
Right.
What do you
Guys, if Wesley shows up, can I ask that you guys go back into the backstage?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank
Yeah.
I just wanted to stop by and see if he was here.
Yeah, I hope he shows up because I've got some good questions for him. But so we'll see. Yeah, we'll just keep talking till then. So Claude, what about the debate? Are you
So what's happened now?
So Father Charles, I think Hovind gave Father Charles the okay to have it on his channel and for it to be live.
Oh my goodness!
So
it's a changing feast, isn't it?
it's it's no different really than being on Logan's channel. It's just you're not going to be able to be up to what he called your shenanigans.
Yeah, no shenanigans, Claude.
He'll bring up his wives and
Right.
taxes.
That's like putting in front of a kid some toys and say, "Now, don't play with it, don't touch it. You leave it alone. I'm just going to leave the room for an hour, and when I get back, don't eat that those sweets or what do you
Don't
call
put your
candy. Don't eat that candy." You know.
I still think it's not a bad idea, though. What do you? I mean, are you against that because of the conditions?
I'll
you
have
have
to
think
see
about
what
it?
these conditions are again. I guess there will be an email or something. I haven't checked.
I would imagine that if it's live and it's on Father Charles' channel, it would have the same other conditions that he put on there.
Yeah, I think it's only fair that you get to set some conditions as well, Claude.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you know. He's calling the shots. It's like he does with his wives, and I'm not married to him.
What if he wants you to be his fifth wife?
Well, I would disrespectfully decline.
Well, he did allow it to be live, which is a change for him. I mean, he has conceded that, hopefully.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
That's a good thing. I mean, he can't, can't be edited or he can't delete it.
It'll be the one prediction that he gets right. Shenanigans.
Right.
Not shenanigans.
Yeah, shenanigans. It's an Irish term, I think.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Well,
see if Wesley shows up. I hope he pops into the chat at some point.
Oh, did you make arrangements with him?
Yeah, we made arrangements at least a couple times. I mean, Father Charles, I think, even texted him yesterday. And when I first approached him with it in the chat, he thought it was a good idea. So,
have you got the time zone right?
I said yes. I said 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then Logan went to 1:15. So,
sorry.
That's okay. We're close enough.
Yeah.
Is that Jeffrey? Is he one of those Hebrew roots people?
He what?
That Jeffrey guy? Because I think they're the one who reject Paul as a disciple.
No, Jeff's just asking questions.
Oh,
he's curious. I don't think he holds this position dogmatically. I'm still over there in that room too, by the way. We have 2 streams going on. I'm in 2 places at once. Actually, 3.
Tell Wesley if he shows up over there, come over here.
Our shows are like a crowded airport. We have to put bookings for landing and takeoff with our shows, right? Because there's so many now. It's good, but it would be good not to double up if we can.
Yeah, I think we should. If what's his name isn't going to show up, we should probably join forces.
We'll go back to Father Charles' channel at that point.
Okay.
But I'm thinking in future.
I mean, if Father Charles wants to end his channel, end his stream, he can all come over here.
Yeah. It would be good to have some sort of not exactly a booking system, but with the 2 main ones, which are Ghost and Charles, so that they're doing at different times. Would be really good if we could work that out, and maybe.
I think we were kind of waiting to see if Wesley was going to show up, and then we were all going to pile up over here.
That's good. Okay, we know. Well, that's a good idea. Good strategy.
Can't say will we have a French accent?
Well, he might, but then he says many things, because the other day it was he can't understand, and he can't understand me. So, he can say whatever. He's attacking the person. That's the only thing Kent can do is attack the person.
Everybody else can understand you, so I don't know what his problem is.
But the other thing is, why attack? Well, it doesn't matter whether I'm speaking Spanish or Outer Peruvian. It's the points that I'm making, and this is where Kent gets and to me, it doesn't matter that Kent has been married 4 times and has false degrees and all those, and is convicted of tax fraud and crime. That doesn't matter. It's his arguments that matter.
Well, I'm gonna head back over to Chuck's show. Deviant and
Yeah,
Jeff are
that's
having a
fine.
really
Sure.
interesting
So-
conversation.
What they're
You
talking
keep-
about?
Egypt, civilization, ancient civilizations, all kinds of stuff.
Cool. We'll probably come over there if Wesley doesn't
All right.
show up.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys.
See you.
See ya. The threes.
Yeah. Claude, it's up to you to
Yeah,
I mean, you don't,
yeah, well,
and you don't have to like
Yeah.
debate in
I'll have
two
a-
days or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
you can
that's-
make it
yeah.
a week or
I'll-
2 weeks or whatever.
Okay, I'll have a think and
Yeah.
we can,
Would you like it if I got Jesse Morrell to come on here? He's a very open theist.
I think like Christian and Mark would probably be more interested in that than I would.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care what type of a theist somebody is. I mean, I guess I'm closer to somebody that says that God set things in motion and then they evolved from there.
Could someone be an open atheist and closed atheist too?
I've never heard of that.
I think
I've heard of Gnostic atheists and agnostic atheists.
What about yeah, what if they're open atheists where they believe the future is open?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that more, I would think, than
What about a closed atheist where the future is open, or an open atheist where the future is closed?
Yeah.
right.
Where they believe that her like time already chose our path for us.
Well, I don't believe that.
Oh, no.
No, that's like the count would be hard to be an atheist and believe that time has chosen our path in a way, because you wouldn't have the freedom of choice. I mean, you could say that physical things have chosen our future in a way, like climate and environment.
Yes.
Things that we've done. I could attribute that, but there's no mystical, supernatural element to that. That's just what people have done. So, yeah.
What about
Hey, Faithful.
Hi,
Hi
Peter.
there. Hi, Logan. Thank you for letting me on. I do not get an opportunity to just dialogue with Claude and BBM very much. And do you mind if I ask BBM a question, Logan?
Okay.
You made a comment some time back, and you made reference to, just in passing, to the Goldilocks Earth. Do you?
And let me see if that's an actual term before I.
Well, actually, it is.
Okay.
And I was just, I'm reading a book written
The
by a
Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks zone.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
well,
not too hot, not too cold, just right.
Got it. I'm reading a book right now by a man that's a rocket scientist, and I would like to recommend it to you. I can email you the information on it because I don't have any other contact. But it's written. I'm halfway through it. I wish I had the mentality to grasp all of it, which I don't. However, one chapter is entitled The Goldilocks Planet. And that's what made me remember you used the term Goldilocks in reference to the Earth one time.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to take this opportunity while everybody's just kind of in a holding pattern waiting for Wesley to ask you about that, not specifically to carry on a conversation, but to mention this book. So far, just in my reading it now, I think you and Claude and I have kind of discuss the fact that I science was a major of mine in high school. I'm just fascinated by it. I just did not go in that area. And when I'm reading this, it's written by a Lutheran man, and he is pulling together some things for me that as I'm reading it, I can almost understand. I can actually visually, while I'm sitting in this room that I'm in, visualize
Hey, you're
Genesis
about to get
1.
raided.
Okay, rated by whom? Genesis.
Chuck's crowd. We're all coming over.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll
If
finish. I'll finish up
if
and let
if
y'all
Wesley
do.
shows up, I'll just ask that everyone leave, but otherwise bring him on.
Don't
Bring-
think anybody can just turn up here now because it suits.
Well, it was Chuck's decision. I'm just
I'm
the
being
messenger.
I'm being crazy.
Don't shoot
don't
the
worry.
messenger.
I'm glad.
I'm just being
See,
funny.
here they come. Here they come.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I listen. I'm always thankful to be invaded by y'all because you're family to me. Anyway,
Faithful, you were saying.
I can, as I'm reading through this book and I'm halfway through, now I will tell you the chapter on Goldilocks Planet was extremely difficult for me. I almost laid the book down because he is tying in evolving from apes. And I'll just generalize that statement. So that's kind of like a disclaimer for my viewpoint on the book. But I can almost visualize Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth as a generalization, and I can closely parallel it to what people call the Big Bang. All of a sudden, all this happened in relation to what I'm reading regarding the scientific studies and facts that they have found. Now, one of the things that really it impressed me, and I'm not one to be impressed, but I took this to one of my he's a osteopath, and he's a young man, the age of most of younger people in this room, and that are not retirement age. And I showed it to him because he and I talk scripture. And the first thing he did was he turned to the back of the book, and he was impressed by the same thing I was. The back of the book has almost 40 pages of nothing but, I want to get the word right, it's an appendix and a glossary, 40 pages of it, of references that to every chapter, it's a glossary and an appendix. And I thought for a book that's only a few hundred pages long to have 40 pages devoted just to references is amazing. So I'll send you the information on that. I've sent it to Mark. I've sent it to Chuck, but I'll email it to you.
Thank
You
you.
can get it on Amazon. I would like to know your input on it. And right
Is
now,
he an old Earth creationist, or is he?
this
You
man,
said he's Lutheran.
he's a rocket scientist. And it's the first chapters are the story of how he came to this conclusion, a little bit of his history, and he said that as a Lutheran, he was taught the Bible, he was taught creation, and as he started studying into the scientific field, he almost, I mean, he really struggled with understanding creation in the way that the Bible in the way, I'm not going to say the Bible teaches it, in the way people interpret the way the Bible says it. And I've never, ever, ever, I just always have found, and I'm not going to make any friends right now, I have found the grasp of the earth is only less than 10,000 years old, very difficult, even back in the 90s when I first heard it. I found that that does not compute. That was like when the teacher in high school told me that I was a Homo sapien and I was an animal. That wouldn't compute with me even then. So that was the same thing. And Mark and I talked about it, and he brought out to me the scripture that indicates, maybe the earth was created with age. And that's why one night when I was talking, I said that no one was there. None of us in this room or anybody that has ever been, books we've read or anything, no one was there when the earth was actually formed. So no one can say for sure. God can do anything. I'm not one to ever put him into a box. Thanks, Chuck, on his drive down 95. But you'd have to be there anyway.
Well, is
I,
your
I, I
God a
I just
God
can't.
of deception?
I just cannot put him in a box.
Is
And
God a
so,
God of deception?
no, he's not.
Well, he
He
wouldn't
never.
create something with age to fool people, would he?
Well, no, he wouldn't, but he might. Here's the thing. He may have created it so that we, as his, as his, as those that are supposed to carry his image, can find this out and the revelation could come out. You see, that's
Well,
not
it's an
deception
incredibly
because,
stupid thing to do. That would be an
well,
incredible thing to do.
maybe but Claude, maybe by the way some people think, not the way I think. So everyone's entitled to their views and opinions. Uh, there might have been a time when I might have thought that. I can't think that now because I cannot unthink or unsee things that I have seen with my own eyes and experienced. Anyway, I didn't mean to monopolize anything. I did
What's
want
the
to.
name of this book?
The name of the book is Finding God in Science. I'll. You can get it on Amazon, and Mark, I've sent you I sent you the link and everything to it. Um, you could send it to Deviant. I don't know if she can get. They have Amazon there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
The,
do know that when I sent something to Canada to Aiden, the shipping on it from Amazon was as much as the book was.
Yeah.
So, and that's just
Uh,
across the American border, So I don't know. I have
Faithful,
no idea.
the issue I have with appearance of age is that the universe also has an appearance of history
I
and
don't.
not just an appearance of age. So we see stars of all ages, including
Uh huh.
supernovas from dying stars. So
Exactly.
the appearance of age asks us to accept that the light from supernovas came from stars that never actually existed.
Well,
That's one
here's.
example where the appearance of age breaks down in my mind.
I agree with that, especially after having read this book, and I believe that that Jesus opens our understanding as we study, and that we actually seek for truth. And this is where I'm at right now. And I'm thinking, why would this old lady start seeing this except to share it with someone? So my process was the earth was old and there can't be a new earth. And then talking to Mark a couple of years ago, he said there's a reference to it could be with age. And it's like, okay, now I can see this. And then I'm reading this and it's like, based on science, this makes sense. And
Um,
I can visualize it, but I can't put it in. I don't have the correct terminology to put it in words. So that's why I thought if I shared that with you and if you would want to take the time and read it, I would
Sure.
really like to hear your viewpoint on it if somebody would tag me whenever you come on to talk about it.
someone's
One
trying to
thing,
get in.
Okay,
But
I'm going to leave to make room for for you because I've got other things I have to be
sorry.
doing today. I've got to go help with somebody that's having surgery. Thanks so
Oh, well,
much.
good luck to
I
them.
love you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Faithful.
Whoever try and come in,
So-
you could come in now.
I
Well,
wanted
you
to point.
okay?
I wanted to point something out. Faithful saying that she has a hard time believing that we came from apes. That's not what evolution says. It doesn't say we came from apes. It says we are apes, and that's according to biological taxonomy and uh, binomial nomenclature, which is the Latin way of giving us two names that never change. Binomial nomenclature is intentionally set up so that it doesn't evolve with languages, which is kind of ironic in my mind, but it's a mischaracterization to say that I can't believe that we came from apes because that's not what evolution is saying. It says that we're related in the sense that we share morphological characteristics, we share DNA stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that an ape at some point became man.
Right, because we still are apes. So I think
Right.
it's accurate to say we are apes evolved from earlier ape species.
The words of Kent Hall
But
was
not necessarily monkeys or orangutans or whatever. It's we can't. If you look into the study of cladestics, it says that you can't leave the clade that you're in. So yeah,
Right.
we would be a less evolved in a sense human, but we still would have been the earliest ancestors of humans.
Well, there's no such thing as really using the term less evolved.
Right.
Everything
different
has evolved
point in-
for billions of years for the same length of time. And we're each just the tip of the branch of the lineage that we're on,
Sure.
Hi, Fire Charles.
Hi, Father
And that
Charles.
was a common misconception that I had, especially when I was falling for the Hoven shtick, that evolution isn't saying that we descended from like an orangutan or a chimpanzee or a monkey, so to speak.
Right.
It's
I
saying
ain't
that,
no monkey bar.
as Homo sapiens, we're not as
I'm a
and like
monkey.
as evolved or whatever, but as progressed along as we are now before, but we are still the same in the same clade throughout the entire process.
Right. And it's good to be able to steel man the other side's position and understand it. Whereas
Right.
Kent Hovind doesn't even try to do that, as you just pointed out. He purposefully doesn't do that. He knows what the position is, but that's why he always picks, the two most different organisms he can choose and say, you think you're related to a pine. He doesn't even say pine tree. He'll say pine cone, or you're
Right.
related to a banana, or
For a mosquito.
Or you relate to Brett King.
Did this pen design itself? Did this pen
Right.
design itself?
He always
Hebrew
uses that
Brett
one.
King is a common ancestor of humans and manatees.
That's true. Well, I don't
We think-
think Wesley's going to come on, but
I don't
I
think
guess
so.
it doesn't matter at this point. We'll just keep chatting.
Yeah. Fire Charles. Are you there?
I wanted to say something
Oh.
else real quick since Faithful responded to that. She says, I'm not an animal, a Homo sapien. Well, in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 19, it says, for that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast for all his vanity.
And
So
I
we
just
essentially are like we're right there with the beast. I mean, even one verse before that, it says God might manifest them that they might see that they themselves are beasts. So in a sense, yes, we are animals in the fact that we have breath, we have life, and all that. But according to biological taxonomy, yes, we are Homo sapiens. That's a fact. And we are of the great ape clade. That's just the field of science. That doesn't mean that I'm a chimpanzee or that I even have a relative that is a chimpanzee. It's just saying that that's just the technical term. That's how it's labeled. Homo sapien is like I said, binomial nomenclature. It's just the way that we describe the different species and whatnot within the animal kingdom.
And when did it become such a bad thing to be an animal? I mean, I think it's largely because of Western religions have separated humans or tried to separate humans from animals in their beliefs. And that leads us to believe that animals are less than human and that we're not even related to them. And so when Faithful's saying, I'm not an animal, I mean, she's kind of mirroring that.
We are.
If you accept
is-
evolution, then, animals are your cousins. Chimpanzees are your cousins.
Right. But not direct, like, descendant of, like, it's
No.
not like my great grandfather was a chimpanzee. That's not at
Right.
all what evolution is saying.
Right.
Share a common ancestor, they say.
Exactly.
But is Brett our common ancestor with
I hope not.
man?
Yes, actually. Very, 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 very common ancestry with Brett King.
And he's a common ancestor with manatees.
Sure. But yeah, to break down the taxonomy, and there's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and all the way down that list, I think it kind of resembles the whole evolutionary tree or whatever, if you break it down. But it's not the same thing. It's not saying that we're like I was saying earlier. It's not like my great grandfather was a gorilla, but you in the field of biological taxonomy, that is the way that things are described and named and ordered, and it does have utility, because we're not gonna go into a pharmaceutical lab and start testing on like a mealworm to try to find a vaccine or a cure for human immunodeficiency
Right.
virus. So it's very important in that regard.
Well, evolution is used in medicine quite a bit.
It has to be because the different, what is that you take antibiotics, and they become resistant. The disease changes, it evolves, becomes resistant and then they have to change the medicine so things are changing by the minute sometimes.
And Hovind says, yeah, but it's still a bacteria. Of course it is. It's still a
Yes,
bacteria. That's kind of the whole point. It's still a bacteria, but it's changing its characteristics and its traits.
And whole new diseases can emerge. Yeah.
As a result of external factors, it does, whether it be by mutation or just different allele frequencies being expressed throughout the population. Yes, it's not. You're never going to expect a bacteria to become something other than a bacteria, but you can expect it to adapt and change to fit in its environment.
Well, Mark, do you believe evolution's how God made us, like Michael Jones says?
No.
Jones.
No, I don't believe in the abiogenesis. I do believe in special creation, but I also understand and accept that evolution isn't necessarily talking about abiogenesis, or it's more of a classification. It's an understanding of where we fit in to this world.
It's our relationships with each other, ultimately, is what evolution is.
Do we have common ancestors?
You can't deny some of the similarities, like the DNA structures. They're similar, absolutely. You can't deny that stuff, and if you do, you are, in fact, a science denier.
Common ancestors.
You're having so many surprises today, Logan.
Christian Brother Pike. Howdy, folks.
If what's his name? Jesse Morrell, Mr. Open Theist. If he comes on here one day, would you like to ask him questions?
Me?
He's an open theist.
I think Mark would be a good one to ask him questions.
Yeah.
We could chat.
And you and Brother Pike could both.
I do have a question for Big Bad Mama now there. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question of Big Bad Mama?
Sure.
Richard Dawkins has written some wonderful books, and they're generally aimed at people trying to understand things. But he does say in some interviews that if you go back far enough, your great, whatever, to the power of how many grandfathers was a fish. So this is where, and I get confused about saying, well, doesn't mean your great grandfather was an ape. So when I hear that
Well,
here. So how does that
No,
work? I
well,
mean, I would have
Well,
thought that's
I'm
right.
talking about like a chimpanzee. Like we're
Yeah.
not.
we're
I-
vertebrates. You know,
Yeah.
we're vertebrates like fish are. We are related to fish ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're related to amphibians. We're related to reptiles and earlier mammals and
Right.
apes.
And
Then
I
I mean,
think where a lot of the
we're all in the same.
misunderstanding comes.
I mean,
is-
you can run that line all the way down.
I think where a
But-
lot of the misunderstanding comes is where people are thinking more in terms of like a family tree. Like my dad's dad was a fish. I mean,
well, that's what
obviously
Kent
extrapolated
pushes.
all the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Mark.
That's
That's
not what I'm saying.
exactly
I
the
mean,
misinformation that Hovind puts forward.
exactly.
You think your great grandfather was a fish or a monkey or something like that, and it's, you know, it's amazing the amount of people that ape that language. Didn't want to use that term, but
Okay, so then, but if you do go back far enough, is that the case? If you could trace back that far, would you
Yes.
eventually find a fish? Yeah.
yes,
T. Myers
Yeah.
said that. He said we're all.
But it wouldn't be like any kind of fish we know of today. I mean, sure, we could probably call
No.
well,
them fish. but they wouldn't resemble-
fish were way different hundreds of millions of years ago. I
Exactly.
mean,
That would be-
It's not the
their
pike.
jaws changed and all sorts of things happened.
So it wouldn't be right to say that my great grandfather extrapolated to the nth degree was a largemouth bass.
No.
That would be the
No.
straw man that Kent
No.
Hovind consistently makes.
unless you want that as your, I mean, maybe you
Mr. Law?
identify with big mouth bass.
You identify as one? Do you?
But you get what I'm saying. That's the straw
Yes.
man. That's the straw man, is to say that I'm going to pick a random species that is here on Earth today and say that that was my great ancestor and that's evolution. That's a very poorly framed argument.
Okay, I'm just going to withdraw from the whatever, and I will watch, but that will open up a space for someone else too to come on. So I will be listening.
Well, we've
okay?
got a space right now. There's a space.
Yeah, we
open.
got
Oh,
a
yeah,
space,
okay.
Claude.
Oh well, I have to do something else then. Oh.
Run away.
No,
Brave
I need to
Sir
get
Claude
so-
ran away. Brave, 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 brave Sir Claude.
Logan, if Wesley did show up, would he and you were full? Would he show up backstage still?
No.
Yeah. No?
He wouldn't even be able
Oh.
to get backstage if you have 6
Yeah.
on the panel, right?
Right.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
Was
so
there
we'll
anybody
always-
backstage now?
I would think that, yeah, he's not backstage now, right?
No.
I would think that he'd show up in the chat to say that he couldn't get in if he was here. So, that's what I would
I
do.
just before I do go, I will mention this thing about the Goldilocks thing. Just not too hot, not too cold. Well, it's sort of like obvious because otherwise we wouldn't be here. It doesn't mean someone designed it that way. If there are other planets where the same thing happened, there could also be similar type of life. So to me, the Goldilocks argument is like obvious.
Yeah, I don't think it directly
Yeah.
proves anything, but
No.
I think it is safe to say that it's extremely rare in the universe.
Oh, yes. Well, rare in the universe that we know, because
Right,
we
in the known
don't know
universe.
much. We're so like our telescopes to see anything meaningful in terms of actually discovering life.
Well,
It's very,
yours-
very difficult.
I mean, we know more about
Maybe with your telescope.
My
the-
telescope,
our solar
is
system than we
huge.
do about the oceans here on Earth. So we've got a long way to go, really.
Yes, yes. So it's very early to say, I mean, I have no idea whether there's life or not life, but because it's so early in the piece.
We're still discovering life on Earth.
And you'd think about our
Yeah.
own galaxy, let alone others. How the distances in our own galaxy are phenomenal. It's more complicated than the space shuttle.
Claude, you leave now.
So I will be listening for a while, and all the best. If Wesley comes on, I'd be very interested too. So, but we will, if he does come on, we give him the chance to speak.
Yeah, I hope he does.
And
Well, I'm going to
we'll leave
clear
it to
out.
you
I'm going to
and
clear out
Big.
the room and
Yeah.
talk to Wesley
Okay.
because.
Thank you. Bye bye for
But
a
yeah,
while.
that probably is not going to happen at this point. So
Yes.
No, I don't
See
think
you a
so.
bit later. Well, he might, he might be a person that, suddenly realizes, oh, I'm meant to be on. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Logo.
Mr. Logo.
Hello? Hey.
Mr. Logo. Bring us a dream. Bum, bum, bum. Mr.
Logo.
Hi, Mr. Logo.
Hi.
How's Mr. Logo's day today?
Good, thank you.
That's good. Mr. Logo, what would you do if Achilles called you a moco?
Well, I would
What would you do then?
not really care about that.
He likes to call people markers.
Walker.
Is he still around? I haven't seen
I'm a
him
walker.
anywhere. Not that I really pay attention to
Is
him.
Wesley not supposed to come in?
He's supposed to, but he hasn't showed up yet.
Thinks he's too good.
Okay.
I wonder if we can
Well,
find him somewhere.
Can Charles try
Drag him
to,
in.
Mark, can you contact Charles and try to get him to text Wesley again?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that real quick.
Thank you.
Miss
Appreciate
Alcott,
that. Mr. Logo, how are you
Huh?
doing?
Good, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah, I was looking
No, Miss-
forward to interviewing Wesley. I prepare for these things and then they don't happen.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
Ask
it's
him.
not your fault.
Ask him which substances he took to have those visions. He should send us a sample.
And Miss Outcast is giant on here. She's huge.
I know. I used to be just a black hole. Black hole?
Deviant, did you have time to check that website what I had sent you, in that private chat from that museum? Did you read it? Run through the translator, Google Translate.
Yeah, I have. I actually have it here somewhere. I constantly I go by it there, Limes Museum. I haven't checked it already, but it is in English. No, it's not in English. No, I'm not lying.
Sorry. Oh. Stop arguing with me.
Maybe I am.
Well, I just thought when you worked as an archaeologist, then it might be interesting for you. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the Lime Museum is
asked
located
for it,
on what
so-
was formerly the largest Roman fort north of the Alps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is that the place
What?
logo?
Yes. Exactly.
Interesting.
Mr. Logo.
I want to. I want that the Roman fortress I was excavating in Czech Republic was the northernmost Roman fortress in that part of Europe. Obviously, they went to England until I think sometime in the 1990s.
Mark.
So I wonder if these two, like,
Marker.
sorry, I'm quiet now.
Sorry.
You're good. Hey, if anybody else wants the big picture for their avatar, I can teach you how to do that.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Oh, Mark. Can I show you the video by Jesse Morale and see what you see? Why he's a theist, open theist?
Well, honestly, I was about to bounce. I got some errands I got to run today, but I was really hoping to see Wesley, but I guess that's not going to happen.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No worries. It's not your fault. He's the one that agreed to an interview and then ditched. But yeah, I got a few things I got to take care of. But I'll be listening. I'll be tuned in, and maybe
Okay.
some other folks can hop in. Like, uh, who else is even out there? Christian, Aiden,
Aiden,
Scoot Kettle.
Christian.
Bird back.
Yeah, if you guys want to take my place, I'm about to vacate.
Okay.
But hey, it was good talking to you.
Missed you.
Okay.
Good talking to you,
Mike.
Mark.
Yep.
Mike,
You guys
good
take
nice
care.
to
talking.
see you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Oh, and before I go, if you all can contact me privately, so I'll just call me or whatever, and I'll walk you through the OBS stuff. If that's
Okay.
something you're interested in, having the big avatars, I think it makes the streams look better. All right.
You serious?
Sure.
Gonna miss Mark. Marker.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Logo.
Is that just me, or is like Restream less stable than the other? What was that called?
StreamYard.
StreamYard. I mean, I had to reboot the computer to make the sound working,
Oh,
and it
sorry
always
about
says like
that.
connection lost, reconnecting. Is that just me, or could that be that Restream is not really stable, right?
Restream's probably cheaper, and that's probably the reason.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, Logan? Isn't Restream free?
The one I have is for free, yeah.
Whereas StreamYard, I think, does cost money.
Looks like
It
Miss
doesn't-
Outcast is
you-
looking at you, Mr. Logo.
You can use StreamYard. There is a free alternative.
Free version.
Yeah.
Wow, you're huge. You're looking at Mr. Logo.
What is Mr.
Oh.
Logo's avatar exactly? Does anybody? Maybe Mr. Logo
Yeah.
knows.
Is it a logo?
it's my yellow rod, you know.
Is it
And
a
it's pink.
hot
It's a yellow
piece
rod.
of metal?
It's a yellow rod. You can.
It's a yellow rod. Okay.
It's like no, it's a chromatography column with fluorescein.
Oh, okay.
What is this? Hers Homo sapien? Does it have any? Is that another species homosexual? Oh,
Same species.
oh, just one. Because why they have the homo on there then?
It's
It
one
means
is
human, doesn't it?
Greek. No. So I have to think. This is difficult. In Latin, homo means human. In Greek, homo means ancient Greek. This is homo means same. So one is Latin, Greek, which were the what do you call it? Lingua franca of science back in the day.
Was Greek.
What about
Sorry?
Was Greek, you're saying? Was Greek, you're saying?
Yeah, Greek and Latin.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so are you saying that the use of homo in terms of homosexual is based on the Greek meaning, but
Yes.
the homo that's in Homo sapien is from the Latin word?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I could have those two switched, but I'm
No,
pretty
you
sure
have it right. I
because
looked it up.
sapien is very sounding, but
is it?
it's
Yeah.
actually a division between sciences are more connected to ancient Greece and sciences that are more connected with ancient Rome. So
But to
because
answer the question,
yeah,
homosexuals are Homo sapiens, Logan.
Oh, okay, just one.
yes, but they
What-
can be other species.
Right.
Can someone
Hmm.
identifies as a cat?
You should see what happens in
No, but
bonobos.
Oh,
homosexuality by this is prevalent in many different species
Most
of
mammal
animals.
species, I would imagine.
Lions. Sorry?
Yeah, most mammal species, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Certainly all
Dolphin.
ape species for certain.
Oh, yeah. And lions. And dolphins.
oh, that guy, Marky Mark. He was in that movie Ted.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Okay.
How did we land?
Is that weird? Sorry.
Wait. I'm sorry.
That is correct. He was in Ted.
Yeah. He also was in The Sixth Sense.
He
Probably a little
turned
part
into a
of it.
pretty good actor, actually. He was in that movie, The Departed, by Martin Scorsese, which was a really good movie.
He also was in was he ever in a movie with Ben? Oh yes, Ben Affleck was in that too, right?
He was in Boogie. No, that was Leonardo DiCaprio. He was in Boogie Nights,
Oh. But that guy,
another good movie.
Marky Wahlberg, he reminds me of Ben Affleck.
Aiden says Wahlberg is a hack.
He hacked stuff.
Jeez, that's tough. Of course, Aiden is a good actor himself, so he can judge acting.
Oh,
Aiden
Yeah,
could
you
be on
don't
the Aiden could be on the stage if he applied himself to acting.
he could identify as an actor. You take that back, Aiden. He has the best burgers.
The wall
Yeah, he
burgers.
reminds me of Ben Affleck. Mark
Do you mean the
Wahlberg.
I
way
think
he
Ben
looked?
Affleck is a hack. I would call Ben Affleck a bad actor, but
Oh. But
These guys remind me of each other.
do you
Well,
mean the
I
way
have
they
a-
look or the way they speak or
Look, I know those just
Oh.
remind me of each other. Ben Affleck, Mark Wahlberg, and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon
Oh,
Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg I can see. Maybe I don't have a clear picture of that other dude. What's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, right.
He
Is
and
that not the guy who was like making that? Was that movie Pearl Harbor?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
considered
Ben
a pretty bad movie.
Affleck. Did
Had the guy from Halloween H2O in it, Josh something.
Oh, think I know who you're talking about.
You know, Big Bad Mama, there are some wild theories about Pearl Harbor, and still like questions that are not totally answered.
I agree, Mr. Logo.
There were like fuel depots not far from that harbor, right? And Japanese did not attack them, right? The question is why? Because this would have like wasted like not just like a part of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, but all of it for years, if that. Maybe the reason was that the smoke would have made the vision so unclear, right? That black smoke from that. So there are still like things that are not totally totally answered, right? Why they did not attack those huge fuel depots?
I mean, my belief on it is that we used Pearl Harbor. We knew that they were going to strike somewhere, and we set Pearl Harbor up as their target for them because ultimately America wanted to be in a Pacific War for economic reasons. I mean, the Second World War opened up so many markets to American consumers and gave us, all sorts of areas to make cheap goods. And so I really think that Roosevelt had some sort of a knowledge that something was going to happen. And I don't think that's what you're talking about, Mr. Logo. But
No,
this
that's
is
not. But
this.
Big Bad Mama, that's an evil conspiracy.
I
That's
know it
not
is.
Big Bad
I,
Mama. How
I
could
know
you?
it is. But
No, that was
you have
not
to
what I
remember
was
that
talking about. That was just the why they did not, right?
you have to remember that we were the ones that first blockaded their country and gave them an oil embargo. So we were the ones that made the first warlike maneuver by blockading their coast. So that's always forgotten in the mix, and it always comes down to that the Japanese just struck us out of nowhere. But I just have to say, like, an oil embargo against a country is a really serious action, a warlike action.
My
That's a fact.
grandfather
The
was
embargo is a fact, but my conspiracy is not a fact.
my grandfather was.
What if it was?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
What if it was the Illuminati that did it?
Yeah, they must have done it. That's
Because
the
they didn't
right
want
thing.
them to tell the vision.
That's the right thing to think. Exactly. Or they made the wood dwarfs did it, right?
Well, Mark, that's true. Yeah, they were committing genocide in China, and that was the reason that was given. But they had been doing that for quite a long time up to that point.
How did we get to that topic?
Is that why people don't tell the vision? Because the smoke came out and they couldn't see it?
Yeah, that's one idea. They knew maybe that this would cause so much smoke that they could not see the rest of the harbor. But then still you could say that why did they not attack those fuel depots at the last raid, right? In the last second. I don't know. Maybe they then ran out of, or maybe they did not even think about it, right? That could be another. So there are some unanswered questions about it, right? And this has nothing to do with conspiracies. These are just
I don't know
practical thoughts, right?
Like, do you think
it
was the
I just know that in other wars that America has had, we've had false pretenses at the beginning in order to coax a war. In the battle with the Spanish-American War, we had the ship the Maine was blown up, I think off Cuba. And that was used as the pretense to go to war with Spain. Whereas it was probably the boiler that blew up and had nothing to do with, an attack. And 9/11 was used to attack Iraq. I mean, Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. There was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq. So those are two examples. Another example would be the Mexican-American War, where basically the American army coaxed the Mexican army to cross the Nueces River, attack them, cause them to cross the Nueces River in Texas, and that was the pretense for when an all-out war happened. And we acquired a huge amount of territory through that war. If you look at Logan.
Sorry, I thought that happened because they when they came over there, they took over, stole the land from the American Indians and enslaved them, and a lot of them escaped to come over to America. Gang teamed up with them, and they went to go free them. Is that it?
What was that? One more time, Logan?
I thought that what happened was that Spain came over and took over, stole land from the American Indians and enslaved them, and then a lot of them escaped over into America, and
Well, that
they
did I mean, the Spanish did come over and enslave Indians, that's for sure. But the Spanish-American War was in 1898, a lot later.
oh, and they founded Mexico on there, and then the American Indians teamed up with America to go fight to get their land, I guess, to free them.
I'm not sure when that was. I'd have to think about that.
But can I ask him, what do you do if you look in America, you finally remember that you actually did see the vision? What would you do?
I'd be freaked out if I saw that vision.
But Steven said he saw a vision about his football worshiping days that got him to stop worshiping football. He said he used to really like worship football, love football, and wants to marry football.
Oh my God. It
Like
can't be
Mr.
easy
Logo.
to not be able to hobbies without needing to have a vision telling you don't have a hobby.
Yeah, Mr. Logo, he loves football, right, Mr. Logo?
No, I would
American
support.
football?
I would support Churchill at that point, where he said, when he was asked why he became so old, he said no sports.
Yeah, I don't watch sports.
The sports watch you.
Probably. I just can't watch. I mean, football is so barbaric and leaves so many people. I mean, the lifespan of a football player is like 50 some years old. So I just don't want to participate in it.
What about boxing?
No, I don't watch it. I
What
don't watch
about-
MMA or boxing or any of that. I don't want to see people beating each other up.
UFC?
No.
What about kickboxing? Where they kick each other?
Yes, that I love. I love that. As long as it's only kicking each other.
Here's this karate they have on there. I forgot.
They
what
should just
call it.
have a sport where they bite each other. You pin their arms back behind their backs,
Yeah,
and
that.
they just try to bite each other.
What about battle bot?
In Europe, we are more like the guys for soccer, but I don't like it either. But it's more common, right? Than American.
Yeah,
football.
BattleBots is awesome.
What about
And I do watch it.
wrestling?
What? Ballet.
Wrestling. Wrestling.
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Professional or like big time wrestling, they call it. Or,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you don't like
I used to watch it.
people getting. You don't people
No.
getting beat up.
No, I don't watch that. I don't watch any of that anymore. I mean, when I grew up, I used to watch Muhammad Ali fight and stuff like that, and it was exciting. You know, it was a big event. But once I found out what was, what these poor people go through later in their lives, I just don't want to participate in it. But BattleBots is great because it's just robots fighting, little robot vehicles fighting each other with saws. And have you ever seen those Deviant or Mr. Logo?
Yeah.
Have you seen BattleBots?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen it.
It's just good old-fashioned fun.
What if they made a humanoid robots where they could fight each other like boxing?
That
But
would
they
be
fight-
okay.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
they could fight in a Mortal Kombat like fight. Would that be good?
Yeah, that was okay. That would be okay, I think. In fact, that was a Twilight Zone episode
Yeah.
where they had it was called Steel with Lee Marvin.
Yeah. That's what I thought of. But what if they had a boxing match between you versus Mr. Logo?
No,
What about
I wouldn't
Mr.
lay a hand on Mr. Logo,
he's a lovable little character.
except to give him a hug,
Oh. Right, Mr. Logo?
if he was okay with it.
Yes, always.
Who likes Mr. Logo?
I don't want to hug him and then Logo just ups and punches me.
We'll sue you for harassment. Oh, Mr. Logo. Is there a karate type thing that we've never seen? People dressing karate thing when they're up there doing karate fights with each other?
I don't know.
Huh?
Maybe that
You know-
exists, right? Maybe. Yeah.
What?
I forgot what they call.
Martial arts?
Yeah,
Martial
they
arts
have.
matches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
It's in a
happen.
ring, like a wrestling ring. I forgot what they call it. Or what if they had touch football?
That's
Touch the
fine.
What?
Did you touch football where you don't tackle the person, you just have to touch them with two hands somewhere on their body,
What about?
and then they're down. That's instead of tackling them to the
Okay.
ground.
Yeah.
And there was also flag football, which you have these straps of fabric that are coming out your belt, and you just have to grab one of
Right.
the pieces of fabric. That's what we played in school
Yeah, we had
instead of tackle.
something like that in school too. Somehow I was beaten anyway.
You what?
I was beaten anyway.
Oh, you weren't good at flag football.
No, I mean, even though it wasn't meant that you should hurt the others on your team. Sports in school is a great way for bullies to really live out their
Oh,
visions.
Oh,
Yeah.
my nephew plays little kid football.
Pop Warner football, is that what it's called?
I'm not sure about little kid football. We think little kid football.
I don't like it, Logan. I mean, are they tackling?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting this concussion syndrome
Yeah, it's really bad.
as kids
Yeah.
into high school, and some of them don't even get into college, and they've already had enough concussions that it's going to affect them the rest of their life, let alone going through a college career and a pro career.
What if they have wrestling? Playing wrestling. Is that good?
Yeah, CTE is no joke. Aiden is right. And not only is it CTE, but I mean, kids blow out their knees and, tear ligaments, and it's just bad. It's just bad. Have them play baseball or basketball.
Well, what about wrestling?
We played a lot of volleyball in school.
Yeah, volleyball's good.
Can't play tennis?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
all sports, as soon as you get into like professional level, it causes harm and tears down the body.
That's true. I mean, even baseball
Oh yeah.
and basketball are tough on your bodies, but
Mhm.
at least they're not dying at
Exactly.
age,
Exactly. And I mean,
51, like
not everyone
a
gets
400-pound lineman.
What if they play wrestling?
Huh?
Wrestling is really bad on people, actually. I mean, you've seen those documentaries, Logan.
Yeah.
Even though the scenarios are faked, them
The blood
jumping
is
in the air and
real.
landing is not fake. Yeah, and oftentimes the blood is real.
Yeah, that's when they I forgot they called it, where they cut this off on purpose.
Right. Did you see that movie, The Wrestler, Logan,
No, I seen
with Mickey Rourke?
Beyond the Mat.
Okay. Watch the one with Mickey Rourke called The Wrestler. It's a really good movie. It's a classic, actually. It's a really good movie.
Didn't he die young?
No, he's still around.
Hmm.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
He's an actor. Yeah, he's still around.
Who am I thinking of? Oh,
Yeah, who are you
there.
Jake,
thinking
is that
about?
Robert?
Can you please
Who?
look into my brain and tell me what I'm thinking about?
Do you know a movie they were in?
No, I only know them from like some mini documentary I saw some years ago. He was a comedian, and
Ooh,
was-
is it the guy who yells a lot?
Not Robin Williams.
No, not him.
no. This guy, he was, his career kind of went south, as I understood. If I remember correctly, he was accused of having murdered a woman in his hotel room. It turned out he wasn't.
Okay, this was a long time ago,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the
Like
Fatty Arbuckle?
yes, yes.
Yes, so Fatty Arbuckle, a woman died in his room after they supposedly had sex. And Fatty Arbuckle, of course, weighed, probably between 300 and 400 pounds. And all sorts of rumors got started that he had, used
Choked her
a
with
champagne
his
bottle or
enormous-
ice or something in order to have sex with her. Horrible things, but that always got denied. He always, that was just the rumor mill, but it could have been his sheer weight. And there was also some interesting things about the history of the girl that died. She was an actress.
Yeah.
But it really ruined Fatty Arbuckle's career. He was one of the Keystone Cops back in the teens and 20s, and really funny comedian. And yeah, it completely ruined his career. Is that who you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's him. That's him. I believe that the woman, like her bladder had burst or something like that.
Her bladder had burst. But from what I understand, and I don't know this for certain, she had had a number of abortions, and which had somehow weakened her physical body. And they think that maybe that had to do with it, in addition to Fatty Arbuckle being the weight he was.
Right.
But I'd have to, not that I know too much about
That
this.
name sounds familiar. Arbuckle, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was around the time of like early Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, and really great comics. I
Is
mean,
he in relation to Buster?
Yeah, he
Buster
was really promising and had kind of he had a really bad upbringing.
Oh,
Like severely bad.
wow.
And then despite everything, worked himself up and made a name for himself, and then this happens and everything just crumbled to pieces.
I mean, they would just rip your career apart back then.
Yeah.
You'd have the tabloid people. I mean, they just had these two, what were their names? Luella Parsons, and I'm not sure the other one, but they could just ruin careers in the newspaper by spreading rumors or what have you. But
for that, right?
What's that, Logan?
They could get sued for lying about people.
Not really back then, I don't think so much.
Now they can, I think.
But it's kind of interesting that today, when there is so much information and so much BS, you would think it would be easier to destroy someone's career that way. But because of the limited information, if there are, like, say, 3 news sources writing about celebrities, if 2 of them spread all these rumors, then yeah, it wasn't better back then.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah, you had Hedda Hopper, and who was the other one I just mentioned?
Dennis, Dennis Hopper?
No, I don't think so.
They both.
Luella Parsons and Hedda Hopper, and those were the 2, and they worked for rival newspapers. One worked for the Hearst chain of newspapers, and the other worked for whoever. But they could just tear down a career like that. And I'm not sure they were writing when that happened to Fatty Arbuckle, but I think Fatty Arbuckle, I think he became an alcoholic after that, if I'm not mistaken, if he wasn't already. But and of course, with his weight, he died young.
He kind of was an alcoholic, but more of a functioning alcoholic, as it's known.
Right.
And after
as a lot of people in Hollywood were.
Yeah, and are today too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not a healthy environment.
No. I mean, if you look at all the sitcoms from the 60s, and every house had a bar where there were just bottles and bottles of hard booze sitting there. They were all smoking.
Yeah.
And that was just accepted as the American home. That was, you came home from work and had a couple drinks and smoked a couple ciggies.
Yeah. Smoking in the office, smoking in the car, getting out of the car, having a smoke. Sorry.
Oh, Big Bad Mama, would you ever debate Mr. Logo?
We would probably agree about a lot. If we had a topic where we
debate over
didn't agree, we could have a discussion.
Evolution versus alien creation.
I think Mr. Logo believes in accepts evolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think
you should know that Gangster Ghost. Right?
What about
he does? He's just trying to stir some stuff.
That's just joking. Sorry.
That's okay.
What about debate Jesse Morale over evolution versus creation? Oh, not debate, but discussed. Have a discussion. I mean, would you?
I wouldn't. Yeah.
But he's Jesse Morale.
That's. Is this the open theist guy?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be better for another Christian who believes differently to debate a person like that, because I'm not going to accept any theism. I don't care if it's open theism or what have you. I just don't, I don't believe it.
What if someone believes in young Earth evolutionism?
Young
Earth evolutionism.
That's a new one.
Well, Ken Hovind does a little bit. I mean, he believes the 6,000-year-old Earth, but he also believes after Noah's Ark that there was rapid speciation. There was a basal cat kind that gave rise to all the cats in the 4,000 years since.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you question him about it, he's like, well, I accept, I don't want to call it microevolution, it's adaptation, but natural selection selects, and he believes in natural selection. He just doesn't believe in, he'll say it's still a cat.
Sure.
If you question him about it.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's the
Yeah, because he doesn't provide a reference of what that kind actually refers to.
Right. What was the basil kind? What did it look like? I mean, what was it?
what is this the
The
basilic?
cats that were on Noah's Ark.
And not even that, but that does not provide a reference of what being able to have offspring, right, means. That reference
Right.
is what I'm talking about. He does not provide that. And that's why he can shift it and say, it's still a fly. It's still a cat. It's still a... And Aaron Ra caught him, as far as I remember, on that, right? He said, yeah, and it's still a eukaryote, right? And then he was
Right.
all upset. Right?
But Ra is the sun god, Kent says.
Yeah.
It's usually Aaron Ra who calls himself the sun god, is how Kent puts it.
Mhm.
This is funny.
I mean, he lies so much, he probably doesn't even know. Well, he knows he's lying, but it's second nature. When does Kent Hovind lie? When he opens his mouth. Just like Seinfeld.
And he never talks about evolution, right?
When Kent
He never addressed it.
talks, when Kent tells the truth, that's when he closes his mouth.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. You got it.
What if I had Matt Powell get on here? Would you ever talk to him?
No,
I would probably
I don't
not
want to have
even
anything to do with him.
get
Okay.
on.
Don't
He's
have
a
him on.
disgusting human being.
He's almost as crazy as Pastor Anderson is.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. So, I mean, that's who his hero is, Steven Anderson. I would never appear on a show with him, but I mean,
Nope.
Logan, I would never
Me
tell
neither.
you who to have on your show or not to have on. You have on whoever you want.
Yeah, I won't have him on here, but
There's just some people that, in some ways, Kent Hovind is more, I guess he's a little less noxious than Matt Powell, but in some ways he's more noxious. But I don't want to debate Kent Hovind either,
yeah, but I think you could be Kent in a debate. What if it was over Noah's Ark?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'd have to think about it. I'm thinking no at this point.
What about you versus?
Do you guys know
Oh, great.
who I think his name is Tommy McMurtry is?
Oh, no, but have you ever
He's a
heard
pastor.
I've heard the name.
You ever heard this?
McMurtry?
Yeah. He's kind of like, it's hard to tell him and this Anderson dude apart. I mean, not the way they look, but it's pure hate. He's
I was
very
surprised.
disgusting person.
I was surprised that this Pastor Anderson guy seems to speak German quite well. His wife is German, and he was living in Germany. So I think he really speaks it quite good. Right? But there's another. Is there not another guy like what is? There's another pastor who is like maybe similar or worse, who was holding that book burning.
Oh,
right.
Well, there was the Fred Phelps.
No. I know. I know exactly who.
Yeah, he thinks that witches are real and that there were some, but these were internal struggles within his cult. That he was like
Greg Locke.
Yeah,
yes,
Greg Locke, exactly.
There you go.
And there's a channel on YouTube called Telltale.
Yeah.
Right? Owen Telltale Owen. OWEN.
Owen Wilson. Yeah, Owen Wilson.
No, not Owen Wilson.
One guy, he's a hero of Lupin. Trey Smith.
I don't know, but I don't know who he is. But if he's a hero of Lupin, I would highly suspect that he's probably a horrible person.
I seen him before. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, but you want me to show you a video of this?
If it's short,
Uh,
how long is it?
Here's a video 4 days ago.
Is this the one of Lupin's hero?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it pretty short? I don't want to watch like a half-hour video of one of these guys.
I would just show you a little bit and then.
Sounds good.
Yeah, he's a trace mechanism of the Joker from Batman Dark Knight.
20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing.
This is called the 2024 prediction. And I'd like to, for this video, I'd like to do exactly that. Make some predictions for this entire year of 2024 and see how close that these are at the end of the year. I'm going to use a combination of charts like this one here on the back screen that I commonly use over at godinanutshell.com and in other videos that I've put together. You can see in the heart of it says extreme weather issues. This represents a calendar or a full year of odd events, heavy events, concerns about terror, specifically in areas like New York, Chicago.
What
That's
kind of
nice.
nonsense is this?
He's that paranoid stuff. I would like to see what he says. What do you think of what he says about evolution?
Where's the Noah?
If you were looking for...
You watch the Noah one?
Well, that's okay. Yeah, you had a good one there. That's all right.
Have you seen what Mark wrote in the chat?
Yes, so Kent Hovind has agreed to debate Claude on Father Charles' channel live, and Claude is thinking about it at this point.
Don't do it, Claude. Don't act as a billboard for this guy. You will be just a billboard for him.
Not a
Nothing
bad
more.
point, Mr. Logo, but if Claude decides to move forward, I'll help him as much as I can.
You're
But,
his sense.
I do agree with you ultimately.
You're his great sensei. Teach him the ways of the evolution. Not what you could do the what is it called? I forgot what it's called. Meditate. Yeah, that's it. You can meditate and teach him the ways of the evolution.
I'll take him out to the desert and teach him evolution through meditation.
And cacti.
No time, garbage time on FanDuel.
What?
Yep.
No time is garbage.
For some kind of an ordinary science video, this is not that video. Everything from God to heaven to hell to time to space. When you hear the science guys talking about the theory of everything.
Tell me to pause it when you want to say something.
The science guys. I mean, he's calling like what, cosmologists or science guys, like, you know, reducing these like PhD scientists that have published multiple peer-reviewed papers. He's a science guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Right.
We're not talking about the same thing.
You have a haircut of Larry. Oh, sorry.
To dimensions and all that which lies between, from the cells to the stars to the quantum particles, making
Swedish composer.
No. Swiss.
Oh, Swiss
From
composer.
Switzerland.
Oh.
Schweiz.
up the whole, oh yes, we're going a lot deeper.
The
on this
whole,
one.
oh yes.
From angels to fallen angels to demons to
We'll get
devils.
to the evolution.
look at the physics of this place, you would find 1% off this way, 1% off that way is a bad, bad thing. You and I would not be talking at all. Anthropic means that it has to be exactly the way that it is for us to exist.
What do you think of that?
I hear a 2-year-old babbling.
Yeah,
Right.
kind of.
You have an evolution one?
You want to go to just the evolution one?
Yeah, I mean, these ones on like the Big Bang and stuff, it's...
I remember him doing a video.
There was one on Noah's Ark, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Here it is.
I was very confused.
In Atlantean times,
Oh,
we knew
ancient
that
beings.
everything was mine. The father.
No life jackets are required for the watching of this film. Feel free to share, but please do not download and respect the copyrights therein. As it was in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the day of the coming of the Son of Man.
This video is about one of the
Coming of the
most
what?
controversial events.
The coming of the.
Son of Man.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think his second coming.
Yeah.
In all of human history.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that.
Some things are going to be said which might disagree slightly with your high school textbooks.
And it came to pass when men began to...
There were giants in the earth in those days and later on.
Yeah.
I mean, he said something like that. So there's just giants. I mean, why would he
Exactly.
put it that way?
What do you think, Aiden?
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. It's the best. It's the best.
They're all science guys.
I just want to see. I would genuinely love to see a debate between Bill Nye and this guy. It would be great. It would be absolutely fantastic.
But he's the hero of Lupin.
Who, Bill Nye?
What are you thinking?
No,
No, this guy.
No, I know. I'm just being facetious. Of course, it's not Bill Nye. But yeah.
Aiden, your mic is pretty loud.
I'm sorry. I'm using
That's
my.
right.
Mark is pointing it out in the chat.
I'm in a really echoey environment right now. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We forgive you, my son.
I'll just try to talk really quiet. Is this better? I'll do my Bill Clinton voice. How about that? I feel your pain, big bad mama. I feel it.
I am in pain. Wesley stood me up. I was bummed.
I'm sorry. He
Well,
broke you.
everyone's, just because you had one bad fishing trip doesn't mean they're all gonna turn out bad. All right, big bad mama. Now
That's
come
a
play
good-
some saxophone with me.
I'm sure you can imitate Trump, can you? He has that broad, like he's like squeezing.
Oh, Aiden probably can. Yeah.
Right? He's squeezing.
No, I
the
do.
word.
I'm a pretty bad Trump. I can't do a very good
Oh.
Trump. I can do a pretty good George Bush though.
What about Joe
We
Biden?
must hunt down and root out these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
Yeah.
What about Joe Biden? Oh, you want to listen more of the...
He did already a Joe Biden.
It's a little
He
bit
was
loud.
He was
You know,
falling asleep.
Trying to speak right now, and these youngsters over here, they can't even let me get a word in edgewise. I'll tell you what, it's like the Billy Quilly bit. It's like the, you know the thing. I mean, come on now, Jack. You just gotta straighten yourself up and fly right now, all right? Otherwise, I'm gonna be giving your hair a sniff.
Oh, Mark is missing Maud.
Aw.
I miss her
So
too.
far away.
That's his one true love.
You're gonna get missing Maud in trouble one of these days. You're gonna get her in trouble because she's with somebody.
We like to listen more of the Trey guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Is he in relation to Trey Parker?
I wish. No, if he was in relation to
going.
if he was in relation to Trey Parker, then this would be 1,000 times more cleverly made and put together.
Okay.
Multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. That the sons of God, the angels,
The Hebrew word B'nai Ha Elohim, or in English, sons of God, at that point in the text does not mean cute little creatures with wings. It specifically means extremely ancient, very powerful, dimensional entities. Exactly.
Wait. Hold
zero.
on. Pause. Where's the word interdimensional used in the Bible? I love how they like sneak these little premises past people with like, let me just throw up this big awe-inspiring revelation and then just sneak this little thing past you in the back door. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, where'd that come from though?
They use that word a lot, actually. They used it about aliens too. That they're Achilles says they're interdimensional.
Oh yeah, I know.
From outer space.
And I've wanted to ask him. I've never actually been able to get into depth with this, but me and Christian were talking about this one day, and we were both laughing about it because demons are described in the Bible as exclusively spiritual entities. Like, yeah, they can inhabit other things, but they are not themselves physical entities when they're on the planet. Like, they're spiritual inherently. So for the aliens to just be these demons, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they would have to inhabit another entity's body according to your own scripture, so it doesn't even make any sense. It's just throwing a bunch of modern hoo-ha on top of a bunch of ancient stuff and expecting it all to be cohesive and stick together, and it doesn't. It falls apart.
Oh. Well,
Mark says, play it back. He didn't say interdimensional.
He totally said interdimensional.
I think Mark's just in pain.
I was once like talking to someone who's like, well, he's less religious. He's like less pumping out religious stuff. He's just from time to time chiming in religious phrases, I should say. But he's more on the political spectrum of pumping out empty assertions and half-witted conspiracies, and he admitted that because I was talking to him private on what was that the old streaming back in 2014. His channel has about 800,000 or nowadays maybe 900,000 subscribers, and he openly said that he can make more money from YouTube and somewhere when he's very quick at pumping out and keep going and talking, right?
Pump out the trash, pump it out, pump it out. Like, seriously, that's about that's the music that plays in my head as these people are just milling these absolute turd burgers on into video format and trying to sell them to people at the market as though they're bread.
And exactly. And the reason for that talk was I was at the time asking him if he's interested in making experiments and showing them on, but he was not, right? He's just fine with conspiracies about, in his case, it's World War III, right? Is the big, what is that headline, right?
Oh.
Which is sad. What the universal thing is about World War III conspiracy theorists? They don't know a dang thing about the other two world wars. Like, basically universally. Like, you'll ask them, like, just basic facts about how did World War I happen? And they'll be like, oh, well, the guy, he fight the other guy, and then everybody get upset for no reason, and then they start fighting. It's like, well, yeah, okay. Thank you very much for that first grade explanation. I really appreciate that.
Was it because of Turkey attacked this one country that caused everyone to start fighting? I forgot. Armenians? What's it called?
Oh, you're referring to the Armenian genocide that took place during the Ottoman Empire's reign. No, the Armenian genocide was actually a response to the First World War because the Ottomans were doing so poorly.
1920s.
Late 19 teens.
What Logan is showing.
No. I mean the Armenian genocide. was in
Yeah,
the
I know that.
1950s.
I'm pretty sure that they began during the First World War, so that'd be during the late 19 teens.
Aiden, you know, were they called the Young Turks?
The Young Turks was the body. Yes, that's correct. The Young Turks were the political body that overthrew the original Sultanate. Well, they didn't overthrow it necessarily. They basically just strong-armed the Sultan into doing what they wanted.
Yeah, here's a news thing called the Young Turks on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
Guy who denies what happened.
Isn't Anna Kasparian Armenian as well? That must be a little bit.
He doesn't deny it anymore. Cenk Uygur. He hasn't denied the Armenian.
You hear he was running for president? He was running for president now. What a joke. What an absolute joke of a presidency. Because you actually look into any of his policies, and they're the most, like, milquetoast, boilerplate, like, blue dog Democrat garbage that you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, I think we should have $15 minimum wage. It's like, yeah, so did Joe Biden. Where'd that go?
I'd like to point out again, since I've done it before, not again, but continue. Mark says, yep, I'm right. He said extremely dimensional.
Okay, well, that makes more sense when the guy said that. Everything.
Yeah, but also not. What is extreme? What does he mean by extremely?
Exactly. It's just as ridiculous as the other word, really. But yeah, I think Mark's right.
Okay. You want me to start it up again?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. Tell me the pause when you need to say something.
Yeah.
And many
pause it.
of your
Pause
most
it.
ancient texts.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Keep going.
Like the Sumerian Epic of Gilgamesh or the pages of the Book of Enoch, depicted here, right down to the Septuagint and the precision words from the Book of Genesis itself, are saying that in a strange world before that flood, like imagining an era of pure paradise, yet twisted into the deepest levels of the bizarre. The teachings and blood altars.
Seriously,
of the snake,
is this Luke's
and all of
hero?
it.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
The editing is so, like, early, like, first or second seasons of Ancient Aliens energy. It's just great. I love it so much.
It's so interesting how it's shot from his side, from his profile, and then every once in a while he'll look at the camera, and it's kind of like, whoa.
Well, you're supposed to get a profile shot to invoke gravitas, Big Bad Mama. So you need to understand, when he's doing the profile shot, he's trying to be like, I'm like George Washington crossing the Delaware. That's the image I'm trying to invoke right now while I'm talking my flibbity flubas. And it's like, it's not working, dude. Sorry.
But
I'm going to start doing that.
This is nothing compared to what that mud fossil university is spitting out.
Mud fossil's the
That is-
craziest.
with a-
Yeah, Mud Fossil University
with
is
a-
the
With a
craziest.
feather, right? He's always pointing, and he's really bad at editing videos. He's like photographing it from and holding up a little paper where he wrote it on, so he does not know how to get the connections right done to stream something. He just doesn't know this, right? And he has this little feather where he's pointing on that, and then everything is giants and organs and blood and when I was like typing in his chat, when I was trolling around, I said because he says, oh, there is like catalase, which is an enzyme, and that can digest hydrogen peroxide. And then I said, well, even if what you are adding there, even if we guarantee that this is peroxide, then I said, is there any other item, any other compound that could decay peroxide in that way, except catalase? And then he wrote back, which is your PhD in? So he was immediately triggered by that, right? I mean, this is a scam, and I cannot even imagine. There's a channel called Sir Sick, right? And he's like trolling him and making videos about that madness, what he's spitting out.
Yeah, we'll have to review one of his videos on here. Find a good one, Mr. Logo, and
That
like the
would be
next time we get
glorious.
together on here, we'll
Yeah,
look at it.
I remember
Yeah.
this guy back in the day before I met everyone. We remember seeing a video of him on here talking about evolution.
This guy's hilarious. I love this.
He said the numbers are against evolution, I guess. The math.
Let's keep going.
Well, he talks about the Septuagint there for a moment, and I think once again this is a classic example of somebody just passing off a term that most Americans aren't necessarily going to be familiar with. But the Bible that Father Charles had to have read when he was going through seminary school is largely Septuagint. It's the classic Greek that was used by people like Matthew the tax collector in order to write his Gospels, because that was the language that he would have had in his role as such. So the Septuagint is what was used by the Orthodox Church from the earliest stages. So what he's inferring when he says, oh, the Septuagint says that, he's trying to sneak past the premise, basically, that, you know, there's like 1,500 years of tradition surrounding those exact verses, but they've just gotten it wrong for all that time. I've got the real secret sauce. And it's just ridiculous. He's not going to come out and actually state that, because it'd make his claim look ridiculous for him to have to balk in the face of all of that tradition. But that is essentially what he's trying to say there.
In chat, Mark says, like, he should look into mud fossil. No, Mark, you should not look into mud fossil. Your brain will fall out, and then it will crouch away and go. You will sit there for 14 days without a brain, right? That brain will crouch to the holiday, take a flight to the Bahamas, and you will have no brain until that thing comes back, right?
That sounds
Is that what happened to you,
You should
Logo,
not
after you watched him?
into that.
Want to watch some more?
Yeah.
Let's watch some more.
Entering in to that pre-flood world through these dimensional representatives that the Hebrew text call B'nai Ha Elohim, fallen angels. These sons of God, or in the pages of Enoch, the Watchers. Then, of course,
I see now. I see.
itself in to humanity. It's at that point in the text from all across the globe
Lupin is
that
onto something.
these agents
Oh yeah.
of darkness
Something
began
serious.
fully birthing their own offspring.
That the sons of God, the angels, saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Why doesn't
and they
this
took
guy
them
narrate the
wives
whole
of
thing?
all
This guy's
which
way
they
better.
chose.
One thing that seems sort of funny to me is that the people who rule the world teach their
Oh
kids.
my God,
I'm
this is
jumping right
hurtful.
out. Sorry,
This is
I'm jumping
hurtful.
right out for today. Yeah, I will go watch someone playing Stronghold. Well, this is a whole big load of Hammurabi and gods of suns and whatever. So, guys, yeah,
But
my
Mr.
brain is
Logo,
already like
you need to realize that Jesus Christ, the Son of
dissolving.
God, is trying to communicate with you
Dissolving.
right now through this documentary. If you are only
Yeah,
willing to
stop
open
it.
your ears.
Stop.
We played this for you, Mr. Logo. You have to stick around until the very end.
Okay, guys. Big Bad Mama.
Okay.
Aiden.
Take care.
See you, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
Mr.
Deviant. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye, Mr. Logo. Bye. Take care, man.
Mr. Logo.
Jesus died for you, Mr. Logo.
Everyone likes Mr. Logo.
Oh, yeah.
Want me to play
How
again?
could he? Just classic example of these horrible atheists running from the truth when it's presented to them. I mean, like, come on, guys. Could you be any more
I
obvious?
mean, it is hurtful. It actually causes pain.
It does. It does.
I'm enjoying it. Of course, I'm a slight masochist.
Yeah.
It's literally like the stimulatory equivalent of somebody just dragging sandpaper across
Yes.
my arm and
Yes.
just like going like, yeah, this is great.
No,
Yeah, this
across
is
my
awesome.
brain. It's like I can feel it rotting in my
Across
head.
my brain.
You see,
Oh,
That's a much better analogy.
Cutting session for me.
you put up a new video about
Wow, Big Bad Mama.
All right.
I'm getting the same joy out of this as a good cutting session.
Wow.
Play again.
What's that, Logan?
Oh, I seen that you put a new video up about One Riot.
Yeah, check it out.
Oh,
Hey, Gangster Ghost, stop trying to mock this good man. We're trying to have a good, productive, fruitful conversation, and you're over here mocking this good man. I've had it up to here with you, Gangster Ghost. I've had it all the way up to here.
This Trey Smith guy is wacky as they come. Oh my goodness. And I've known about this guy for quite a while. Like, I'm surprised he's popping back up. Like, he's still out there because he's already had so many failed prophecies to this point. I'm surprised he even has a subscriber base.
I remember him back in the day too.
I kind of think of him as like the Christian version of like David Icke. Like he's just one of those people. He's just one of those people that he's so outlandish in his ideas, and he's just like he's so well practiced. He's kind of like Kent in the fact that he's had so long to develop this to the point where he's got this down to like such a science in his mind, how he's going to spin this and present it, that he legitimately has been able to cultivate this just little group of people that are convinced genuinely of these arguments.
Yeah.
It baffles
and
my
one
mind.
of them have been on stream with us.
Who?
Lupin.
Lupin's that
This is
figures.
Lupin's hero.
That figures. I think Bolin
Hey, that's
likes
not
Trey
nice,
Smith
Mark.
too.
That's not nice, Mark.
This is giving me a new respect for Lupin.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was
actually
pointing out
found more respect for him when I found out about this. Once again, people like Mark and Gangster are here to mock this good man.
He's mockers.
Mockers, that's right.
I wanted to
There we
point
go.
out in the chat earlier because he did say dimensional. He wasn't saying interdimensional. I know he meant to say interdimensional, but he didn't. And it baffles my mind that somebody can put together a whole video where he's actually voiced over himself. Like, he's not actually talking in this video. He voiced over it. And he still didn't get the word right. Like, how many times did he have to hear that in editing and still not get the right word? Like, come on, guy.
Mark, let me ask you.
I'm a dimensional being, okay?
If you say if you say Migadaswooga most of the time, but then you go over the video and you accidentally miss Wigadasmooga rather than Migadasmooga, I mean, it's easy to mix it up when it's just absolute gibberish.
Word salad. Oh, freaking magnets.
Let's keep rolling it.
Okay.
Playing with magnets.
Deviant, careful
They
now.
want Todd to yours.
Yeah.
Here's a touch of a side note. When you're dealing with Luciferians, little witchy people, the top of your most
Wait a second.
uppity up and exclusive.
Luciferianism and Wicca is not the same thing.
No, they are
Am I right?
innocent people.
Man.
Wicca and Luciferianism is not the same thing.
Big Bad Mama could be such a witchy person sometimes, you know, guys. It can be so witchy sometimes.
Mark, am I going to listen to you or Lupin? I mean, come on.
You should probably listen to Lupin just because you're a masochist.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Lupin's,
if you want rational, reasoned arguments, you can listen to me. But who
do you think was See Now and Know's first subscriber? Like Mark, who do you think was their day one for See Now and Know? Missing Mama over here was day one.
Missing Mama?
Around
Missing Mama.
What?
Big Bad Mama. Lupin describes this guy as like Joker-like.
Joker-like? Is that a good
Joker
compliment?
like?
Or?
Joker like.
Uh-oh, cue Aiden's Joker imitation.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's anything quite like me.
I want to know how I got this smile.
You want to know how I made these arguments, Lupin?
Oh,
So
Big Bad
bad.
Mama. Big Bad Mama. I just had the best idea for a parody of Kent. You know how he's always saying, look at the smile? We need to, like, intertwine that with the Joker when he's like, how do you think I got this smile?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
There's got to be some creativity in there, but that's a pretty good base for a video.
Hayden does an awesome Joker.
Needs to do Bane. Someone else needs to be like, yes, indeed, Lupin. It is the ultimate price to pay to be in darkness. I don't know.
Again with the constipation.
Lupin.
You adopted the bad arguments, Lupin. I was born in it, raised by it. I don't know.
By it.
Molded by it. That's right. That's right.
All right, let's check out this dimensional video.
Okay.
Secret
I'm really just trying to save us the pain.
And their
Thank you.
beliefs of the teachings of the
hours, right?
beings that entered in the land before time world that existed.
Why didn't we
prior
put this
to
on the Voyager
that
spacecraft,
flood.
you know?
You may hear terms
Good
like
question.
the secret doctrine, mystery religions, or my personal favorite, the age and time period of Atlantis.
Oh
It's supposed to be a secret. When the sons of God, fallen watchers, came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children
I just want to
them,
give Deviant a
the
hug.
same.
Aw, we all do.
This is 2.5 hours long. Oh my god.
Oh,
Can we skip? Wait, Logan. Can we skip to 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 12 seconds in? Could we just skip to 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 12 seconds in? Because I feel like that's the most important part of this documentary. That's when
That's
they
the
really get into the
craziest.
meat
that's
of
good.
the argument. No, it needs to be 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 12 seconds.
seconds.
Okay, I'm being specific
Exactly.
here.
On the spot.
Boy, he's covering all the topics here.
That,
Lucy.
No, that's where he's warming up, Big Bad Mama. You don't understand. That's where he's just getting
Okay.
warmed up.
that's it.
I wanted the part where he brings it home.
Yeah, this is where he brings everything together.
Right here.
Right here?
Little later.
1 hour, 37 minutes,
This is
and 12
it's
seconds.
costing Amazon from shops.
Right here.
You still use
Okay.
Prime because at this
Water.
Yes, I still use Prime. I also pay for you.
Oh,
The
here's
guy
some
saying-
plate tectonic stuff. There was some plate tectonic stuff.
Oh, you want to do this one?
Just do it.
Oh my
See
god.
where he is.
I
Now what we
Minecraft
call
is very
oceans.
specific.
Blasphemers, man.
What about lotion?
Do you think that might be helpful in supporting enormous ecological systems? Almost
Oceans?
forms, I don't know, the shape of the continents that are between it. Sort of like a big zipper where something really enormous emerged out of. But lifting up from the mid
Forget about plate tectonics, you know, something
Right,
emerged.
forget about the plate tectonic. Here's
Giant zipper.
interdimensional.
It looked like an extremely dimensional entity has arisen from these highly computer-aided graphics.
What zipper looks like that?
A
What
giant
zipper looks like
with-
that? No, but when I zip something up, though, it isn't like it's like going all over the place. That's not what a zipper does,
Yeah,
though.
they're interconnected, and yeah, okay. It's a
I didn't. I didn't realize that all of West Africa was just that part of the zipper where you get it caught a little bit on the fabric. My bad, guys. My bad.
That's where you get caught in your fly.
Well, isn't Florida the part that you actually grab? Little tab. Or would that be Italy? No, Italy's the boot. I'm sorry. Where are the pants?
China.
This is going off the rails quickly.
Want me to continue?
Yeah. Why
I'm
not?
not sure.
I've given up.
Oceanic
I have to.
ridge.
Does he have
eat
shorts?
at some point.
Nope.
Does
I
he
mean,
have
do you think
shorts?
Antarctica is pants? That'd be ridiculous. It's obviously boxing shorts.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, but Brother Pike doesn't wear shorts.
What, Grace?
He has a
I
teacher
told-
who says, I don't wear shorts.
I told
Grace
you it's
wants something
China.
from me. I'm not sure what.
I wear shorts every day
Like
of
a
the year.
fracture that seems to
I'm envious of you, Big
race
Bad Mama.
underneath our current oceans, forming between itself the continents of all Earth and the surface of every one of those continents, almost as if they were squeezed upward, right in between, are covered with a mile to a mile and a half of strata.
No,
and
no, no,
those
no, no.
strata
No, 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 no. So
There
you,
is just more wrong information in 1 minute of this than you could even rebut.
so to expand on my earlier theory about West Africa, guys, so the Atlas Mountains that are in like Morocco and Sierra Leone, places like that, that's actually the part of the fabric where you kind of like try to pull it out a little bit, and then it just gets rumpled a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what
Right.
that is. That's what that is. And then like the Rocky Mountains, they're on the other side. That's when you try to when you have a butt itch and you kind of scratch it a little bit, and the fabric gets really rumpled up on that side, because I mean, like, you got a really bad itch, you got to scratch that thing. So that's why the Rocky Mountains are actually taller than the other side, because it's on the other side, which is where your butt would be, obviously.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mark, Missy Maud is here. Missy Maud, Mark was worried about you.
Worried
so I'm
sick.
glad
I
you
was
showed
crying.
up.
Like, I was distraught.
Yeah, he misses one true star.
He was
That means one
farting,
too
he
long.
was crying.
Farting, crying.
He
yeah.
cried.
I cried on air in front of everybody.
He cried in front of everybody.
Yeah.
It was
It's not
emotional.
your fault because you didn't.
Only for that.
You need to apologize to Mark for making him sad for not appearing in the chat.
Usually he only calls me at 3 a.m. to weep over the fact that you've spurned
I'm
him.
getting a
But
phone
today he did it publicly on stream. So you just need to realize the depth of how much you've hurt him here, Miss Maud.
She's furiously typing.
Anyways, let's hear about how Appalachia is the result of somebody's rumpling their fabric a little bit.
are made of sedimentary rocks, which actually is rocks laid down by water. More than that, within that strata, we not only find massive amounts of trees running vertical through the layers, like this one here, which means that the tree would have had to have been standing up while the layers of strata built up around it for hundreds of thousands of years. Going further, we find massive amounts of fish all around the whole globe, which are in the process of eating other fish, like this one shown right here, or this nice looking fossil right here, or this one here. In truth, there's so many of these from all around the globe that you can buy them for little to nothing. Perhaps fossils like this one, literally animals swallowed up in sediments while in the process of giving live birth. Now, these strata of sedimentary deposits, that's rocks laid down by water, which cake the earth at a mile to a mile and a half, are often compared to tree rings. I guess my question would be this, because these aren't actually tree rings, are they? That's dirt, correct? One
Yeah, this is the first place to ask a question. Good point, Trey.
The entire Earth of sedimentary strata or rocks laid down by water,
because everything else was just a given,
and teeming rich with marine life that died in trauma, including massive sea creatures that didn't have time to digest the food in their bellies.
Aiden, you have to get
Herds
these
of
hand
animals
gestures down.
like this dinosaur
I'm looking. No,
graveyard.
I'm studying it. I'm
Canada.
studying it.
Thank you.
Oh, Canada
Literally
mentioned.
drowned and swallowed in earth. Very often interwoven and tangled up with sea.
This is what happens.
But those
when you
sedimentary
create
layers
user-friendly
of strata are sorted by weights and densities of sediments, sorted identically to what one would predict and expect if there were a lot of water pumping around on the surface of the geological column of strata are commonly drawn like this, with different ages and eras. You'll find this often.
Are you guys all right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm compared to him.
What's this guy's name?
Trey Smith.
I'm not sure he qualifies.
This is good stuff.
For name. This is.
I remember seeing his stuff back in the day.
Oh, so he's been on for a long time.
Yeah.
How many views does this video have?
Are you okay, Aiden? No.
9 years ago. 4 million.
4 million?
What?
4.8.
What?
4 million views?
What? It has to be Lupin.
How many?
It has 20,000 comments. Wow.
It's got 60. It's got
mean,
60.
it
It's
has
got 60. It's the population of a small city like this video. They didn't just watch the video.
How
No,
old
they were
is
like,
it?
this is so good that I'm going to like this.
How old is
Yeah,
it?
I'm going to right now.
I would probably like it.
9 years ago.
You'd what? What did I just hear? Leave your lips, Big Bad Mama. Say it ain't so. Please take it back. You can take it back. I didn't fully hear what you said. It's not too late.
I can't help it. I'm entertained by
It's
this.
not too late, Big Bad Mama.
I'm going to be a creationist.
You're good.
After this video.
I fully support your decision, Big Bad Mama, and I just wish you nothing but the best.
Respect my decision.
I do. I do. Congratulations.
Guys, if you need me. We're going to team up with Lupin now.
And defined as full abstraction, which is put generously.
You're a mental abstraction!
Accurately depicting the contents of those strata, it would be seashells and clams, seashells and clams, seashells and clams, seashells and clams, seashells and clams. It was Nicholas Steno, generally considered father of stratigraphy, wrote the book on stratigraphy, literally. The axioms used right now by geologists today for strata, that these were deposits that were laid down by the global flood. It's a curious question to even ask how one would get the surface level strata, particularly sorted.
I never thought of it that way before.
Without there being a lot of water
See,
pumping
Aiden's
around
turning too.
on the surface of the ground.
I'm so alone.
It's not made of moon dust. Our current method of dating fossils that we find within that strata is, well, doctor, how do you know that this is an old fossil? Well, that's quite simple, because it was in
Tell us how
an
it's wrong.
old rock. Ah, but doctor, how do you know that it's an old rock? Ah.
Oh no, it's cutting
Because
it out.
contained in a fossil.
Oh no.
But doctor, how are you certain that it's an old fossil? Well, I just told you. Because it was in an old rock. This is about as scientific as asking your doctor, why is my cousin blind? And he replies, because he can't see anything. In fact, taking that just a pinch further,
Tell me, David, tell me.
99.99% of
Jay,
the
tell me.
fossils found within those sedimentary strata that cake the crust of the entire continents of the earth are filled with invertebrate, marine life, seashells, clams, planktons, algae, and plants. The other 0.01% is where you begin your vertebrates, and most of those are fish. Phrased like that begins to sound an awful lot like a marine catastrophe, doesn't it? Strangely, though, the fact that Steno stated clearly, right on the cover of his book, no less,
Are you living?
that all of these strata of...
Are you alright, Aiden?
I think he's crying.
Are you alright, Aiden?
I have returned.
Go on.
I had to take a phone call from my daughter's music teacher.
Was it good?
What?
Well, she got in trouble the other day. Was a little rowdy, a little rambunctious. She ended up throwing a chair, and that's not cool. But when I confronted her with it the other day, she didn't want to be honest. So I told her I was going to talk to her teacher and get to the bottom of it. So I have a little better understanding now what went down and how to deal with it. So, yay! I did dad things, dad stuff.
That's good.
Serious?
That's good.
But oh my goodness! So
I think we have lost Aiden. I think he's
Are you alright?
buried
Aiden?
himself.
Where'd he go?
oh no! Oh my goodness! Grace jumped up on my bed in the middle of that phone call and just started farting. She farted like 6 times while I was on the phone. You gotta stop that. Oh, she's such a spoiled, rotten thing.
What do you think of this guy, Trace Smith?
I think he's a quack.
What?
I like it.
Have you heard the phrase Dunning-Kruger?
Yes.
Well,
Is there anything related?
It's when
to
you
Freddy
think
Krueger?
you know more than you actually do. And Trey Smith is the epitome of that because he says a lot of stuff about a lot of different topics, but his actual depth of knowledge is so shallow, he can't even get the words right. So, I mean, I don't have any respect for Trey Smith. I've sought him and his theology out before and came to the conclusion that it's completely worthless. And those are my thoughts on the guy.
I'm
Let's
just
keep going.
amazed if he's living alone. I mean, someone should take care of him.
Trey?
Yeah.
Yeah. He might need somebody to fix his baba and
Deviant, why don't you have him move in with you?
No. No. No.
So I noticed that Missing Mod showed up in the chat right before I got a phone call. And you know what? I guess people don't understand that I do also have a life beyond the internet. I do take phone calls from people. Like the other day, I had an alarm go off and it pissed off Wesley. Like, I'm not just an internet guy. I have real life things going on too.
What? You're so strange.
Well, I'm not.
What's
I
that?
didn't Missing Maud's complaining that I bounced as soon as she showed up, but I actually had to take a phone call concerning my daughter. So,
Are you still worried about her?
am I worried about her? I wasn't worried. I was just
What's
curious
going on
because
between you guys?
I was just wondering where she was because she's usually the first one to blow up the chat, and I'm in there blowing it up all by myself. It just felt off.
He loves his stalker. I mean, he loves Miss Maud.
Huh?
That's his
Okay.
one true
That's
love.
cool.
I'm just joking, Mark. But she is an angel lady.
If you say so.
Okay, you want me to play the thing?
I gotta go eat.
Okay.
But you guys keep going, and I'll come back later if you guys are so. Logan, let me know if Wesley shows up.
Okay.
I have
You guys
forgiven
won't-
Missing Maud for all the horrible things she has said about me and to me in the past. She has asked for forgiveness, and I've given her that. But
That's good.
You know, I'm not gonna like run down to Florida and marry her because of that. You know, that ain't happening. Sorry.
I imagine you two being a lovely couple.
Well, no, that's never gonna happen.
Aw.
I mean, she has her own like little family, like her boyfriend and his wife's kids and all that. So, like, I
His
don't know. I don't want to get in
wife's
that.
kids.
I think that's how she described it.
It's a complex thing.
Yeah,
going
it's
on over there.
complicated. It's complicated.
Okay,
And I'm
We
not trying
shouldn't
to
get
pass
into it
judgment.
here.
I'm trying to be accurate.
I get it. No, I'm
But
not
yeah,
pressing
she's
them.
already involved from what I understand. So even if I was
Oh, I
interested,
think,
it wouldn't be. Even if I was interested, it
there
wouldn't
you go.
be feasible. So,
Hmm.
and I'm
Well-
not. Just to make that clear.
Better not.
To make that abundantly clear, we can be internet friends, Maud. That's fine. But I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not your husband. I'm not your baby daddy. Just no.
Are you going to meet us at DAL?
Who's going to DAL? Why would I go to DAL? I've already been there.
Claude and Missing Maud and myself.
Y'all can have it.
Okay. Oh, did you hear what oh God, look what she wrote.
I buried half a joint somewhere out there on the sand dune. So if you can find that.
Okay, well, give me a map, like a treasure map.
Bring it back to me.
I'll dig for it.
Yeah. It's probably well deteriorated by now.
Brother Pike.
Hey,
Oh, you sound lovely.
hey, is my camera's gay or something? I don't know what's going on.
Joyful and happy?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, that's
Your voice sounds a little.
How you
yeah,
feeling?
we all got strep throat. I was just calling in to say
I was
hello.
gonna say. How are you?
That's what's
You sound sick. Yeah.
Probably caught it from
Hope you
Agent.
feel better.
But is anyone gonna wonder where is Aiden? What happened to Aiden?
We may have taken care of him,
Uh-oh.
but it'll be all right. I mean, not for him, of course.
Will be.
Hurts to laugh.
Are you still going on Standing for Truth show?
Man, I've been thinking about that. I want to, and Donnie's been trying to get me scheduled for so long that I hate to cancel, but God, I feel horrible.
I think I pissed
I'm
off
sure.
Maud. What did I
I
say?
wouldn't worry about it, Christian. I would just.
I would love to go on. I've been wanting to go on. It's just bad.
Just tell him
timing,
if he
man.
can reschedule it for another week.
I'm sure he will if I ask him.
Yeah.
I've been looking
Oh,
forward to it actually because we were talking about the nature of the Godhead, which to me is one of the most interesting subjects. And he was supposed to have some guy who's kind of considered to be a professional.
A professional
Professional Godhead?
I mean, I don't know if that's the title, but a guy who's esteemed for his knowledge of the subject. What was his
Gotcha,
name, Logan?
gotcha.
Matt Slick.
Matt Slick.
He's so slick.
Yeah, you were
Got me.
going to debate
No,
Matt
he
Slick?
I think.
Wow. That's a pretty big time interview.
Yeah, that's what they were telling me. That's the reason I kind of hate to cancel, but I feel so bad.
Do you think you can just kind of muddle through it?
Probably. I probably can. It's going to sound like this.
Yeah, you sound
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I mean, I just know your regular voice, and you do sound sick. But I think if you didn't
You
hear
sound
you
like
before,
a demon.
Thanks, appreciate
A
it.
little bit.
Nice.
I didn't want to say.
I act like one too sometimes.
Brother Pike, what do you think of this guy, Trey Smith?
Well, I watched like a little bit, and I heard all y'all ragging on him, but I don't know what he's saying.
This guy's making a lot of sense.
I mean, I think I'm on Team Trey Smith, to be honest, having heard nothing.
This is Lupin's hero, so you're in good company.
No, definitely Team Trey Smith.
I bet Stump likes him too.
Dude, if the leader of the pack follows this guy, I mean, just saying.
Have you talked to Lupin?
No, I
lately?
had tried to reach out to Missing Mod to get his email address, but I don't know if he ever responded to her or not. Because I don't have no way of reaching him, and I just wanted to say hello and I don't hate you, whatever.
Oh, I don't know what I said to trigger Missing Mod, but I mean, okay. What did she not say that I said? I don't know.
You and Missing Mod have like a love-hate relationship going on.
Well,
but I think it's mostly hate.
I don't hate her. I really don't.
Mark's warming up to her.
I don't hate her. I just got my fill of her really fast a long time ago.
Oof.
But she's gotten better. Like, she's gotten better as far as not calling me a pedophile and a child molester and all this other stuff. Like,
saying those kind of things are not advantageous to relationship building. I found out.
Yeah, like I've gotten over it, right? But it really did leave a bad taste in my mouth for anything else that she has to say about me.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, I mean, Logan's black, so what now?
Wait, she says, I'm confused. I don't say love you and you get upset. I say love you and you ignore me and break up with me and we what?
It sounds like you guys just broke up.
You better take that girl back, Mark, while you can.
Did something happen between you guys that you're not telling us about?
I mean, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
You don't have to talk about it, but
no, this is kind of perplexing to me because like I have no idea what she's saying. I've never said that. I've never said anything like. What am I saying? That is.
I imagine she's referring to the pedophile comment.
She did. She made a whole video about it.
I'm just egging you both on, actually, but
I'm just following BBM's footsteps wherever he goes. Look, I wanted to join that cult the other day.
Okay, she's getting kind of animated. Let's drop the subject and move
on. Brother Pike,
yes.
What do you think of would you like to talk to this guy called Jesse Morrell? He's what they call open theist.
Well, first let me say, Missing Mod, I don't know, but I believe you because I don't want to get screamed at. So you're right, Mark's wrong. But in regards to
I'll take that.
Jesse Morrell, I don't know. I'm funny about people named Morrell. Something about that guy sounds kind of like an eel.
What about Tom Morello?
Yeah.
Well, fair. You know what, Logan? In the light of Tom Morello, I will debate this fellow.
Look, yeah, I get him to come on here. Would you like to talk to him?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not today, though.
Yeah, he could tell you the ways of the open theist.
Yeah, that's people who just think stuff's like up in the air and God don't even know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
That violates just most of the scriptures.
Yeah, all of them.
He brings up Jonah. You ever heard of Jonah?
I've heard of Jonah, Logan.
Yeah, he brings up Jonah.
What about Jonah?
That God was going to destroy that
God
country,
did destroy that country. People bring this up all the time, and they think it's a point against predetermined will.
Yeah,
God
and that's what I brought up the other day.
Jonah.
It's like, didn't God eventually
He
destroy
never told him
Nineveh?
when he was going to do it. He just said, I'm going to destroy Nineveh, and that's what he did.
Oh, is that what he said? You want to see any of his video?
Logan, I want to watch whatever you want to watch, bub.
Yes.
The enthusiasm. God, I'm finally starting to feel a little bit better. We've had it rough, man.
That's rough.
It's been a bad one. And the stupid thing is I'm out of town working. We got the whole crew down here in this little VRBO, and now we get freaking sick.
You probably deserved it.
Yeah, probably. That's what I thought, too. That's the first thing that crossed my mind. I was like, I had it coming. Got me a little bit.
Where is
That's the
Aiden?
first thing I think of, Mark, anytime something goes wrong in life, because I was such a reprobate when I was a kid that I'm sure I got plenty more coming.
Oh yeah. I said just last night when I was talking with Mark.
While it relates to the knowledge of God, while it has definite implications.
This is the guy who's an open theist. He's very open about it.
Oh well, I was talking to Mark Reed last night on my stream, and I went as far as say, if God struck my head up against a stone and killed me and sent me to hell, he'd be perfectly just in doing so, because I've done some terrible, terrible things in my life.
I'll tell you honestly, Mark, this is going to sound crazy, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way. I mean this from a faith-based position. If I was to open my eyes in hell, the first thing that would pop in my mind is, though I make my bed in hell, thou art with me.
Amen.
That's how sure that I'm sure that I'm sure.
Amen.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
What?
And you
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like,
if you send your
this
tithes
is
and offerings,
hypothetically.
PO Box 986.
Look, all right, I promise you, I'll pay you back, Christian. Just give me some more time. No, I am secure in my salvation. I know that because it's not me that keeps it. But if it were any other way, and I were to wake up in hell, I would deserve it. And
I told Stephen that one time.
I would just have to be okay with it.
Me and Stephen one time were talking about determinism and stuff like that, because me and him used to talk about that all the time. That's one reason it irritates me when he acts like he don't know. But we were talking about it one time, and I said, Stephen, do you think that your salvation is more secure at your discretion than it is at God's discretion? Does that sound like what the prophet said when he said safer than a baby cuddling in her mother's arms? Mm-hmm. Just think about that.
What is it as safe as Mark being holding Skylar's arms?
Oh my goodness.
Well, there's an image. Weird. I see why the camera's broke.
Sorry.
I just pictured the Titanic, but much worse.
Kind of Challenger.
Skylar was like near far.
Well, I'm about a foot taller than Skylar, so that one might look kind of funny.
Yeah, but he's kind of 10 foot more aggressive.
Yeah, he's
that Jester was
got
born
that
with crystal
whole
meth in his veins
going on.
He's ready to fight, son.
Skylar doesn't do drugs. He smokes marijuana with me occasionally, but he doesn't do anything else.
I don't know,
He's
man.
very
I'd have to see that to believe it.
He won't even drink alcohol. He won't even drink a beer with me.
I tell you what, I'm anti-marijuana, but I think for Skylar, it's probably the best thing.
Want me to show the video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's a magical leopard.
Hello, everybody. Jesse Morrell here with Open Air Outreach. You want
to say anything, just say pause.
Yeah, you're fine.
Talk today about a topic, a doctrine that I'm very passionate about. I've been studying it for many, many years, and it really just paints a beautiful, wonderful picture of God, and really vindicates His character from charges of, imperfections in His character, and that's the issue of open theism. Now, I'll write this on the board. I'm going to be using my whiteboard today to, help along with this teaching. Open theism, sort of a strange term if you're not used to it. Open theism relates to the nature of reality and to the nature of the future. This idea of the future possibly being open, or at least partially open. Of course, theism is, belief in God. Comes from the Greek theos, which means God, and theism would be the belief in God. Atheism would be a denial of God. So open theism is the belief that God has not predestined all future events.
Wait, is this
but
the same
that there
thing
are
that all
future
Armenians
events
believe?
that are...
Huh?
Mark, is this like an Armenian standard thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize the terminology threw me off. Logan, you can go ahead.
Open, that may or may not happen. The element of contingency. And so the issue of open theism relates to the foreknowledge of God, and I'll write this on the board, foreknowledge, or you can also call it the omniscience of God. Omniscience means all knowledge. But it's not primarily about the foreknowledge and omniscience of God. The issue of open theism is primarily about the nature of reality. Because God's knowledge of the future corresponds perfectly with the nature of the future. God's knowledge of reality corresponds perfectly to the nature.
This guy is not a very good speaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not really
Of
following.
reality.
His knowledge determines the nature of the future?
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think?
I have to.
How about the nature of the future
jump off-
informs his knowledge? He's backwards.
I have to
He's
jump off
exactly
and
backwards.
run to the store.
Well, you might want to
You're
drive.
still on in like
take a
20
bus.
minutes. What?
Well, I mean,
There are no buses.
unless it's like really close, I would recommend driving or taking a bus or something. Running, especially in the weather, you could get hurt.
I know, but it's like 200 meters, and I don't have a car.
Oh, so that's not too far.
No, they
200
close in like
Oh, you better
16
get going.
minutes.
Go, go, go.
Go, 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 go. If you're still here in like 20, 25 minutes, I will see you then, and I hope you are.
Right on.
Right on. Bye.
See ya.
So the debate of open theism, while it relates to the knowledge of God, while it has definite implications to the knowledge of God, it's primarily a debate over the nature of reality. Has God predestined all future events, all sin, all misery, all torment and agony,
Pause.
all future?
Mark, I have a question for you that I think is a pretty interesting question. I'm of the opinion that even the natural world hints toward determinism in macroscopic physics and stuff like that. Do you agree with that?
I'm basically a fatalist, so yeah.
Tell me what fatalist is. I forgot.
It's Calvinism. It's determinism. Everything's pre-planned, and we're just kind of here for the ride.
Yeah, I think me and you feel the same way about that. I just didn't know if
Look
you felt
into
that
it.
way about the natural
It's
world.
It's an interesting philosophy. Fatalism is.
Well, it's weird
it's
because
very
it's
much in line
extremely
with Calvinism.
counterintuitive. As people, we certainly seem to be under the impression that we have willpower, and I guess there's maybe an allowance of willpower in the overarching theme of things.
Yeah,
But
I believe
it
we have
does.
agency to act within the confines of our God-given nature.
Yes, correct. That's the way that I worded it as well. And even the natural things, if you look at cosmic inflation and things like that, they could tell you where a certain star is going to be 10 billion years from now with very, very high accuracy. Everything in the night sky is like a clockwork machine, and it just seems like things, even in the natural sense, are very geared toward determinism.
I would have to agree.
Anyways, I was just curious of your thoughts on that. Logan, you may resume this beard-having guy. Get him, beard-having guy.
He's a leopard.
He's taking God by surprise.
Choices of
Claude said in the chat. Missing mod. Please cut the love for everybody else. Think only of me.
I mean, the man, listen, he's French. It runs in his blood.
Oh, he's a lover. And look, Missing Mod, I don't hate you. I would even say that I do love you, but it's not a romantic kind of love, and that seems to be what you're implying that you want, and it's just not. I'm just not cut out for it.
Don't know what you got till it's gone, baby.
Well, look, I'm just not cut out for it. I'm celibate by choice. I'm pretty happy with it. Not
having
really
deviant left?
looking either.
You get all the ladies.
Why deviant left for?
She had to go to the store.
Oh, they don't have stores in Sweden.
200 yards or meters from her house.
Meters. Ooh,
That's a very sweet.
oh, it's like 19 Celsius. Weird.
It's actually pretty warm.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Are we hearing?
I'm so American that I refuse to know.
Okay.
Men, has God predestined everything that happens in our world, or are some things open? Because the nature of reality affects these things. Now, in the Calvinist system, in the beginning, God predestined everything. And so the future in the Calvinistic system is comparable by analogy to a straight line, and I call it a straight line of certainty. And so the Calvinist will say God foreknows with absolute certainty all future events, because all future events are certainties, because God's predestined all future events.
Amen.
However, if you have a free will theology...
What, Mark?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I said
you want me to
amen. I
pause
was totally agreeing with what he just said.
Okay.
Then
Mark, do you
the
identify yourself as
future
a
does not
Calvinist?
consist in...
I've been called a Calvinist so many times that I've just kind of adopted the term.
Do you find that you
you
pretty much
identify
agree with
as-
all the tenets of Calvinism?
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Ironically,
You
though, the 5 points of Calvinism, Tulip came about long after Calvin passed. It
No, I knew
wasn't
that,
invented
yeah.
until the Synod of Dort, and Calvin had already been dead for a good long while. But it is based on his theology, especially the Institutes of the Christian Religion.
Right.
And I've read a
you
good bit of
ident-
that.
is that-
I've read a good bit of that. Oh my goodness, it's a hard read.
Yeah, that's what you were
Old
telling me the
English,
other day.
especially authors like John Calvin, Jonathan Edwards, and some of these other guys. Like,
Do you ever read any John Wesley? Are you a fan of John Wesley's work?
I haven't read John Wesley, but
John
I wouldn't
Wesley
be
had a
opposed
lot
to
of
it.
really good teachings on just kind of holiness and sanctification and how a person can keep their life above reproach and stuff like that. He sort of focused on that area and really had some great things to say on the subject.
Is Calvinism your gender identity?
No, my identity is in Christ Jesus.
I was going to answer yes.
in mere certainties. This element of contingency given to us by our free will means that the future is not a straight line of certainty, but really more of a web of possibilities. It may branch off here, maybe branch off there, maybe branch off here. It's the future has many different alternatives, many different courses, depending on the free will choices of men.
Oh, that's interesting.
Drawing
He's like
it out, it makes
he's
it look
branching
like,
into multiverse
well,
theory. That's very interesting. See, I enjoyed listening to people talk who have a little bit of understanding of physics when they talk about religion, because physics on the micro and macroscopic scales really overlap in their allegories with spiritual things. And I always love that kind of stuff. Get him, beard guy.
He's a leprechaun.
He might be. Maybe he hasn't decided yet.
That's how he identifies.
He's taking God
the
by
Calvinist
surprise.
view is a stick, and the open theist view is a tree with many branches, a tree with many alternatives and possibilities. And as we're going through life, we're making choices. Every day we're making choices. We might choose A or we might choose B. It is not yet decided. So when it comes to God's knowledge, God does not foreknow with absolute certainty all future
Pause it real
events,
quick, Logan.
because not all future
Who is this guy to say what God does and does not know?
Well, my first thought about the approach that he's taking, it's a very clever comparison because it makes his side look more reasonable at first glance. But I feel like the approach that he's taking is like borderline atheism.
Well, I mean, he's basically saying that God lacks knowledge.
Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll hear the guy out. Maybe I'll join his cult. Come on.
He's on Facebook.
Come on. What's his name?
Jesse Morrell.
Bet if I won't friend him.
And I asked him
Tell him
one
it's
day
meant to
about
be.
coming on. What would you like to ask him?
Why so much of his teaching has not incorporated any of the scriptures? And I mean, I already know the answer to that, of course.
He brings up Jonah, I guess.
Well, come on with the Jonah, Jesse.
Events are certainties. If I worded another way, I would say God does not foreknow all future events as certainties because they're not all certainties. God foreknows some future events as possibilities. So both the open theist and the Calvinist believes that God is all-knowing, or that God knows reality as it is. The debate is over what is the reality that God knows. And so oftentimes Calvinists will say, oh,
that is an interesting point he's making about where the debate is at on this. There's two scriptures that emphatically state that it is not possible for God to lie. Mm-hmm. And there's two ways that people have tried to interpret that. One of those camps has interpreted it to mean that it's not in God's nature to allow himself to be intentionally deceitful. And the other camp, which I probably lean more into, interprets it to mean that when he says something, it becomes the truth. And so when you look at the Lamb in chapter 4 and 5, 6-ish, he takes the little book out of the hand of the Ancient of Days and he looses the 7 seals. And one by one, those seals come open, which I believe is the predetermined foreknowledge of God being executed by his personification as Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And when you open the 7th seal, then the book comes open. Because the book never comes open until the 7th seal comes open. A lot of folks forget that. But when you open that 7th seal, it says there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And after that is when John starts seeing the 3 great woes. And my point in saying that is God, the Ancient of Days, as Daniel called him, the one that sitteth upon the throne, as John called him, had determined things from before the beginning. And he had determined to execute that will as a personified person, Jesus Christ, the personification of the invisible God. And so we see this account in chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., where one by one, he begins to personally execute the will of the Heavenly Father in his mortal body and in his earthly ministry, and then later on in his ministry as high priest and intercessor. Mm-hmm. So he played the role of apostle. He played the role of high priest. He played the role of king. In chapter 21, he played the role of God. And so if God predetermined things, and John wept much because there was nobody who was found worthy to come and take the book and execute that will, and then the Lamb comes and he does that, how could a person possibly believe that it could be any other way? Because however it was written before or after the seals were loosed, it was already written.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And what this guy is saying is that God somehow has limited access to his foreknowledge. And I think that that's just preposterous.
God, that's such a beautiful subject. That makes me cry just thinking about that.
Sorry. Well, yeah, when I could get him to come on here, I'd like to see you two have a talk with him. What do you guys like to talk about?
I mean, I'll be very kind to him, of course, and I'm sure he has a lot of interesting things to say. It's just his overarching theology, to me, is in conflict with the theme of the scriptures. It doesn't take very long to prove predetermination. Like, you can flip over to 4, 5, 6, 30, 400 passages, and just over and over and over and over again, you can read it straight from the scriptures, straight from the letters in red, verbatim, quote it. But when you go trying to explain to people how things aren't that way, that's where you bring in all these books of theology.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Isaiah 46:10, it doesn't get any more clear, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times of things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel.
I added that to the introduction, by the way, when you told me that the other day.
I will do all my pleasure. That's God saying, he declared it. He declared it. It's not like he knows. It's not just that he sees it. It's not that he just has an inkling of what might happen. He said, like you said, when he speaks, it becomes truth.
It becomes.
God's already
that's the way that I
declared.
understand those scriptures.
God has already declared the end from the beginning. It didn't say he sees the end from the beginning. It doesn't say he has foreknowledge of the end from the beginning. He has foreknowledge because he declared it.
Oh, Mark, I heard that Bob guy, he said that he declared it like the time our president declare war on someone?
Yeah, and then there's an actual state of war once that declaration is made. Just like there's a state of our existence because God declared us into existence. He spoke us into existence. And not just that, he declared the end from the beginning. And if you're going to believe the Bible, which this is clearly what the Bible says, you're going to have to come with some pretty significant verses to nullify this right here. And I just don't see a way around harmonizing any scripture with Isaiah 46:10 in light of non-determinism.
I don't understand the desire to not believe what it says, because there's such a desire to disbelieve what it says about this. And it's like people have this thing where they're like, I want to prove that I'm worthy of heaven. Well, you probably don't want to do that, because then you're not going to heaven.
Exactly. The only thing you can do is prove that you're not worthy. I mean, the only thing we really contribute to our salvation is the sin that makes it necessary. So, you know, these people who want to go about making all these prophecies and these Gnostic ideas, which I think open theism is a Gnostic idea, they're buttering themselves up. They're building themselves up. Say, look at me, look what I know. I have this special knowledge. You should follow me, buy my books, listen to my sermons, follow me. And no, read the scripture.
Well,
How can you argue with declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times of things that are not yet done? How can you argue with that? You can't.
Yeah, what would you like to ask him?
Yeah, I would like to simply ask him, how can the future be unknown to God if he declared the end from the beginning? If he declared it.
Oh, Mark, so the other day you had mentioned a couple of scriptures in one of the chats, and that was the scripture in Isaiah that caught my attention. And so while I was proofreading through the introduction for the new book, I actually added that and added a few lines in there based upon what you said. So that was a big contribution.
Oh, I'm glad to have helped. But it's
You
not my
did.
contribution. It's the word of God.
Brother Pike, we'd like to have that talk next Friday.
Yeah, we
Not
could
this
probably do
one?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm
great
pretty
one.
much done. We're just doing all the editing and proofreading now.
Oh. Are you going to have Claude edit it too?
What?
Claude?
I mean, I feel like the only answer to this is no.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of a funnier answer, but I think no is the only answer.
Oh, okay. I know a funny one. Yeah.
What?
I don't.
that would be Logan, you clever, son.
That would be a funny answer.
Logan is clever. He catch you off guard sometimes.
Open theists deny that God's omniscient. Open theists deny that God has foreknowledge. And that's not, really accurate. Now, if a Calvinist will ask me, hey, Jesse, does God foreknow all future events as certainties? And I would say no. Then they would say, oh, so you deny that God knows all things. And I say, no, not at all. God does not foreknow all future events as certainties, because not all future events are certainties. In fact, if God thought something was certain when in fact it's not certain, then he would not be omniscient. And so the claim that open theism denies the omniscience of God is not accurate. It's a straw man. It's a boogeyman, a theological boogeyman that Calvinists have invented to try and scare you away from a free will or open theistic perspective. It's just as unjust for them to accuse open theists of denying the omniscience of God as it would be for an open theist to deny that Calvin.
Salad right there. What is he saying?
He's like, well, if you say that I'm wrong, then I also say that you're wrong.
That's what I thought. What an argument.
I was like, dang, I never heard that before. I was like, I have to take a step back on that one. This guy's on to something.
Believe in the omniscience of God. If I go to a Calvinist and I ask, hey, Calvinist, does God know that the future has open possibilities that may or may not occur? The Calvinist would say, no, God does not know that the future has open possibilities. And if I say, oh, so you deny that God's all-knowing. God doesn't know that the future is open. God doesn't know that the future has possibilities. You deny that God's omniscient. They would say,
I can literally rephrase that by saying God knows the future isn't open.
Yeah,
And
what
I
kind
just
of a
fixed
statement
it.
is that?
I
God
just fixed
doesn't
it.
know that the future is open.
It's like, y'all don't know that y'all ain't never mind nothing.
What a mess of words that mean nothing.
That's what I'm saying. When you go to teach people about determinism, all you got to do is read the Bible. When you teach them about this stuff, you got to have a chalkboard.
Yeah. And what does he even put on his chalkboard that just it doesn't?
He's like,
okay.
we all know branching trees look better than sticks, don't we?
Right, exactly.
Say no. No, God does not know that the future has possibilities, because the future has already been decided. It's predetermined. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts, or maybes about it. It's already settled. So God knows the future as certain because the future is already settled. And so it would be just as unjust for me to accuse a Calvinist of denying the omniscience of God because they don't believe in my view of the nature of the future, as it is for them to say open theists do not believe in the omniscience of God, because we deny their view of the nature of the future. And so in the Calvinistic system, in the beginning, all things are settled because all things have been by God predetermined.
Amen.
In the open theistic worldview, in the beginning, God created man with a free will. And because he gave us a free will.
See, this is where these open theists, they're playing semantics, because there's different kinds of will, even free will. There's deterministic will, there's libertarian free will. There is room for libertarian free will in Calvinism. Absolutely. There is. But what he's saying that Calvinism preaches like you have no will whatsoever. It's all deterministic. And they're trying to put a deterministic free will in place of what we would call the libertarian free will, or that agency to act within our nature. He's totally strawmanning the position.
I would rather have strep throat than have a conversation with this guy.
Well, you have both now.
I was being honest. Like, this is the most boring thing I've ever heard. It's like a salad, but with words.
And no dressing.
No dressing.
I like his hat though. That's
The
a
hat's
nice hat.
Yeah, the hat's winning me over.
He likes
The only
to
reason I
go
haven't tuned out yet.
college campus and call women the W word.
Winners?
No,
Whole people? Ooh, voters?
O-R-E.
Wait, he does the what now?
He called them a W-H-O-R.
This guy believes that the future is open, and he's going around calling girls that in public.
Yeah.
He's going to get hit with a
which
car.
guy?
This guy on the video.
Really?
He's like, out of all these possibilities,
he's certainly
and you chose to
opening
sleep
himself to some pretty, I don't know. He's opening himself up to something, saying stuff like that.
I can just see him now on the college campus. You got all these possibilities, and you chose to sleep around.
What? Go ahead, Logan.
Okay.
Our future choices have different options, different alternatives, different possibilities. An A, B, or a C, or a D, or an F, or, even more and more. It could be limitless, all the different variations, all the different alternatives, all the different possibilities. And God, being omniscient, knows them all. He knows all of the possible choices that we could make. He knows
I'm at
all of the
a
different
whopping 0.
alternatives.
Yeah, I'm at 0.
And so, if you think of the Calvinist system being a straight line of certainty, but the open theist system being a web of possibility, and in their view, God knows the future as a straight line, and the open theist view, God knows the future as a web of possibility. In which view does God have more knowledge? In which view does God have infinite knowledge? Well, a straight line that never ends is infinite in one direction. So you could say, yes, a Calvinist believes God has infinite knowledge. But an open theist has an infinite web of alternatives. So many different variations. Mathematically, I mean, come on. There's not a mathematician.
So he's basically saying he's a Calvinist, but, he's going to believe that God has all these other realities. Like you were saying, the multiverse stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think he's just
God
trying
thinks
to
in
sound
multiple
smart
dimensions.
without being smart.
Yeah.
That's what I gather.
Alive and never has been and never will be, who could calculate how many alternative possibilities there are, given how many people there are and how much free will every man has throughout his life. It's unfathomable, inconceivable, it's infinite. And so certainly the open theist readily acknowledges that God has infinite
Time to eat now. So come on, get your food.
knowledge. And I would contend there's even more knowledge that God has in open theism than in the Calvinistic system, because to know a web of possibilities, an infinite web,
To know
is
something
greater than to
that's
know
never
a
gonna
straight
happen.
line.
Hang on, Logan. So to know something that's never going to happen is not knowledge. It's a complete contradiction. That whole theology falls flat on itself right there. To say that God knows of things that aren't going to happen, that is such a contradiction.
I would like to ask this guy, like, in how many possible worlds do you think Jesus didn't go to Calvary and just like started a family and kicked it? Because he said, I came here not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
Yeah.
I mean, what about like all the volumes of scriptures? What about those?
Oh, those just happened. God knew about them, but he wasn't sure about it. He just kind of guessed, and it just kind of fell into place.
It's an interesting position.
I mean, he's painting a very uncertain God. When he's got the word certainty there, but what he's illustrating is a very uncertain God. Go ahead. Logan. Well, Christian?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if Logan fell asleep or, I mean, this would have put me to sleep. So
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not that interesting. People think that the more they talk, that the more they're interesting.
It's just nonsense. I mean, he's disproving his own. Oh my goodness. So Missing Maud is a discerner of spirits, and she has that. What does that even mean? Do you know?
I feel like I'm discerning this guy's spirit.
She can't spell or read, which is not true because you're spelling and reading. Look, Stephanie, just come on the show and have it out with me. I don't know what it is you're trying to get at, but whatever. I'm here. Just hash it out. I'm tired of this stuff. You love me, you hate me. I'm a pedophile, I'm not a pedophile. You said bad things about me, you never said bad things about me. Christian, do you hate Missing Maud?
No, me and her are friends.
I don't think Christian hates you at all.
I hope I don't hate anybody.
And I don't hate her. I really
at times
don't.
that boundary has been pushed in life.
Yeah, we're only human.
Infinite straight line of certainty.
Oh, Logan's
now you can call him a classical Arminian who believes that God foreknows with certainty all future events, and that God has given us a free will. And they would say that God simply foreknows with certainty all of the free will choices that we will make. This is absolutely logically incoherent, inconsistent, and contradictory. Because free will means possibilities. And for God to foreknow the future as certainties means that there are no possibilities. And so the, you can call it classical Arminianism, is inconsistent on that point. Now, I don't know if it's really classical Arminianism. A lot of Arminians have had that view, but there's been Arminians who have been open theists. L.D. McCabe, for example, wrote 2 books in the 1800s dealing with, what he called divine nescience. And so, there's been open theism throughout Arminianism, but the idea that God foreknows with certainty all future events, and yet that we have this free will, it's inconsistent. The Calvinist is consistent.
Not at all.
The Calvinist says God foreknows all things because he's predestined all things.
This is bringing the symptoms back.
The open theist says God knows that the future has possibilities because the future has possibilities. Again, logically consistent. But for those who say, well, there's possibilities because of free will, and yet God,
like
from
well, you know what? I might as well be
all
God.
with certainty.
Seriously, hang on.
He's foreknown the outcome.
Stop. I might as well be God because I could sit down and write out every possibility that's going to happen to me today and then tomorrow, because obviously I'm not going to be certain about the future. But I can sit down and write down every single possibility. Given the state that I'm in, I'm at my house. I could slip on the floor. I could, burn my hand on scalding water. These are all possibilities. So what this guy is saying, that God knows all these possibilities and that's somehow his foreknowledge, that's not certainty. That's no more certain than I am about what's going to happen to me today. This is so mind-blowingly ridiculous that somebody can believe that God is not in control and then call themselves Christians.
This is like in a few minutes, I either am going to go to CVS and pick up the kids' prescriptions or I'm not. So I guess that's what he's saying about God. Because
Something like that. Yeah, like I need to go to the bathroom and that might happen in the future, but how can I be sure? I might not go at the certain time.
It's one of those things, like I said, where he's trying to sound really deep and mysterious, but it's not deep and mysterious. It is quite mysterious, though. How many views does this
of
video
these
have?
possibilities? He's foreknown which possibilities would definitely be chosen, even though they were not predetermined, even though they were not decided by God, yet God from the beginning knew which choices every man would make. That is logically inconsistent, contradictory, and incoherent.
Got him.
So what is open theism? This is a general, preliminary understanding of the basic system of it, but there's more to it. And let me erase the board here, and we can start a new topic.
Go CVS. Oh.
Now, under the open theism, not only does this relate to the nature of reality and how the omniscient mind of God must perfectly correspond to the nature of reality, it means, as already alluded to and stated, that the future events are not foreknown with certainty, which is what we've said.
That's not what the Bible says. He still hasn't.
And therefore, there is in God a uncertainty. Uncertainty. Now, biblical support for this, of course, so far all we've talked about is the concept, the idea, a straight line of certainty or a web of possibilities. Up to that point, it's just an idea, a concept, even philosophy, if you will. But what is the position of the Bible? What's the biblical position? Can you say biblically that God has had an uncertainty about which future events would or would not come to pass. Now, the first instance I want us to look at is Genesis chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. Now, this was when I was first contemplating open theism. This was one of the scriptures that was greatly impressed upon my heart relating to this. Genesis 6, 5 to 6 says, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth."
Oh, if you say it with
and
emphasis,
it
it's going to
grieved
mean something
him
different.
Yeah, the
in
emphasis
his
really
heart.
pulled me.
So here the Bible is saying when God saw how wicked the world had become,
Pause it real
he
quick, Logan.
repented of making.
The Bible says that God slayed the lamb in his foreknowledge to be a propitiation for sins. Is this guy saying that it like caught God by surprise?
Exactly.
The world. It grieved him. Of course, this also relates to the debate over passibility and impassibility. Does God have emotions? Does God have feelings? Can God be hurt by his creation? And given this verse, I would say absolutely. In fact, I'm writing a book right now, and I've been touching on the issue of passibility in God.
Plug it up, boy.
That he has a divine pathos. And so far, just that little section for my book dealing with that has turned into 100 pages of verses after verses after verses that teach the passibility of God. But relating to open theism, it's implied.
I have doubt that that statement he just made is true.
Hundreds of
and hundreds of
pages
pages
of
of verses. Yeah, okay.
I write books, and like sometimes a couple hundred pages is your whole book.
Right.
And I use a lot of scripture in my books.
I've got your book right here. I found it. The Foundation of Wisdom. I actually didn't lose it.
Oh, I didn't know I sent you that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
sure did.
That's actually a book where I make the case for Jesus' name baptism. I think you'll find it interesting.
I have found it interesting. I'm about halfway through it.
I appreciate you
found
taking
it
the time
again
to read
yesterday.
that.
I just found it again yesterday. I started reading it early summer and I misplaced it, but I found it yesterday, so I'm going to finish it.
Well, that's very nice of you to take the time to read that.
It's a good book.
If you don't like it, then we're still friends.
Well, if I don't like it, I'm just going to set it on fire and film it and send it to you.
Well, that's fine too. It's not like you had a choice in the matter.
Right. It was all predetermined.
Implying here that had God known, had he known that the world was going to turn out the way that it had turned out, he wouldn't have created it to begin with. And that's why he sent the flood. Because
that's his imposition on God. No, just like you said, Christian, if God had known the lamb slain before the foundation of the world, how could you say that any sin caught him off guard and made him change his mind and regret making? The Bible doesn't say he regretted making man. It said it repented him.
That's correct.
That he had put man on earth.
That's
and
a
to
big
say it repented
misconception.
him, right? It repented him. It made him sorry. It gave him godly sorrow, the divine sorrow that it goes even beyond anything we can experience.
The way that I go into that in one of my writings, and I don't spend enough time on it probably, but the way that it's worded, when it says it repented God that he had made man on the earth, it's worded in a way that I hear as being he felt responsible. And when you look at Calvary, God took the responsibility for the fall and paid the penalty for it. And it's one of those things where it's like, why was there a tree of knowledge? Why was there a serpent? Why was it placed in the midst of the garden? Why was there attention brought to it in the first place? You know what I mean? The more you look at it, the more you realize, oh, it had to happen this way.
It had to happen.
I'll be right back up. Do you guys want to finish this tomorrow? Or?
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
It's whatever you want to do.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
I gotta go to CVS anyways.
All right, Logan. You have a great day. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
And,
you guys take it easy, man.
Get ready to get slaughtered by Daniel 9.
Slaughter.
I mean, who was it that slaughtered you before? Was it Lupin?
Yeah, I think that Lupin and Achilles had sort of taken turns slaughtering me.
See, you don't even know what slaughter is until you
True.
face me.
That's true.
Oh, and I've got an
You could've stopped right
update
there.
from Missing Mod. All right, sorry, Missing Mod is not my friend. Okay, that's what she said. Sorry about that.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Adios.
you, Mark and Brother Pack.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
Well, I guess I'm gonna try to go on that show tonight. I really don't feel like it, but I probably will anyways.
Sorry about that, Brother Pack.
Take care.
Well, I hate to miss it, but yeah, I'll see you guys.